all forms of tax are fraud. There's nothing good to it. And it's that simple. So, are we all aware of how the state is set up and how it's run? The state, not the government. Different things. Yeah? So you've got you have the executive office, chief executive, all board members, yeah? That's the executive office. Coppers, executive office, police, nurses, teachers, all in the executive office. Okay, that's it. Next rundown, we've got the legislative office, yeah? So policymakers, but we're talking companies, yeah? CEO at the top. Right, we're running a company, so we need some rules for this company, legislators. Yeah? How they enforce those rules is with the police, and then they use the judiciary. The judiciary is the third run down. Right, here's the conflict of interest. No judge or court anywhere in this land has the authority to judge on you or anybody else for that matter. It really is as simple as that. We never gave them authority. To make things legal, we're going by consent. That's important. We're going by consent. Right, so we'll go back to that office. Anybody in the executive office or the legislative office can't be judged again by an office below them. The conflict of interest. If I'm the boss and I say to Darren, I'm going to hire you to make some rules. Yeah? He then defers that. Right, well, I've made the rules. Anthony is the judiciary and he's going to enforce them rules. How can he enforce rules on me when I fucking put him there? Conflict of interest. That takes us into Exhibit C. That's where the conflict of interest starts in Exhibit C. Exhibit B and Exhibit C are the ones you need to concentrate on the most. They're the most important exhibits. Anybody could have put all these exhibits into an affidavit, but nobody could have put Exhibit B because David won the case. Nobody else has ever won that case. So it's case law, and it hasn't gone through court, so how can it be case law? Strange. Because it was the council that signed it off. We're council are in executive office. Council have signed that off. The judiciary signed it off, who gives a toss? The CEO signed it off. So that's why Exhibit B is the most important case ever to be won, as far as I'm concerned. Because it proves beyond doubt who's who and what's what. So then into Exhibit C, the material evidence of the facts. These are there. They're online for anybody to just go and see. So we've got two speeches. One from Jack Beatson. So Jack, if you're a geek like me, David only put a small portion of Jack Beatson's speech in there. I've been to read it all, and it's mostly bollocks, jibber-jabber nonsense. But the very first paragraph, it's almost like that paragraph doesn't belong with that speech. Why is it there? So let's read that paragraph. In 2003, the changes and new responsibilities given to the Lord Chief Justice necessitated a certain amount of re-examination of the relationship between the judiciary and the two stronger branches of the state, the executive and the legislative. So, do we know what happened in 2003? Remember? Tony Blair was in power at the time and he got rid of the House of Lords. Yeah? So he got rid of the House of Lords and he gave you the Royal Court of Justice Court. So who gives it a toss? And he's telling you, he's fucking telling you. Sir Jack Beatson, he benefited from all those changes because he became the very first Lord Chief Justice of the country. So he's telling you that there's two stronger, even just that bit of information, so there's two stronger arms than the legislature, yes, and than the judiciary. Anything above the judiciary, you can't do them. Conflict of interest, because the judge, Boris Johnson is that judge's boss. Who found it suspicious that MPs go to court and never get fucking sent to jail? There is a fucking reason for that, guys. There's a conflict of interest and it'll never, ever, ever, ever happen. So, Sir Jack Beatson. So when anybody argues with you, don't fucking stand there arguing. Tell them to go and fucking argue with Sir Jack Beatson. Yeah? They're not our words, they're his words. So when you couple that speech with the next speech, David put all this speech in, the next speech, and it covers 7 fucking pages. 7 pages. To give us a description of what the word state means. 7 pages. Crazy. So what's a state? A state should not be viewed as a form of association that subsumes or subordinates all others. The state is not an entity whose interests map closely onto the interests of the groups and individuals that fall under its authority, but it has interests of its own. The state is, to some extent at least, an alien power. Though it is of human construction, it is not within human control. Getting scared yet? So what the fuck is it then?
Alive. Alien.
It's alien. Alien.
Yeah.
That's because you've got unalienable rights, unalienable rights. You've got rights that can't be fucking leaned against. But you've only got them rights if you know what they are. Yeah? If you don't know what they are, you might as well go home. You need to know what your rights are, and your rights are whatever you decide. Your rights end where mine, your rights begin where mine end, and vice versa. That's it. That's what rights are. So anybody claiming rights of government is a moron. So let's get back. So the state is not there to secure people's deepest interests, and it does not serve to unify them, reconcile them with one another, bring their competing interests into harmony, or realise any important good such as justice, freedom and peace. While its power might be harnessed from time to time, that will serve the interests of some, but not the interests of all. The state is thus an institution through which individuals and groups seek to exercise power, though it is not only an institution, but also an institution that exercises power over individuals and groups. The state is, ultimately, an abstraction, for it has no existence, it is not a material object, is not confined to a particular space, and is not embodied in any person or collection of persons. It's that sinking. That's what's fucking running our lives.
That's what gives the education to our kids.
So all your children go to state school, you all go to state hospitals, you've all got state doctors. You're all being fucked in arse, pardon my French.
That tells you it's not there for you.
Just that one line alone, that the state is not there to unify the best interests of the people. So what the fuck is it there for?
Yeah.
Why is it there? I'll tell you why it's there. It's so scumbags can set up private companies called Agent Parliament Government PLC and rip us off. They've been doing it forever. Forever. But now we've got to address. So everybody come to right lanes, forget lanes for now. Forget lanes for now. We need to concentrate on this document. This document is everything. The lanes are nothing. This is the document. Yeah? This is what you... Anything else is based around this document. So any claims that you make in the future, if they're outside of this document, good luck. Good luck. Because that document has been on the record since 2015, I believe, 2015. So it's been agreed and on the record since 2015. So anything in that document, I can shout it from rooftops and nothing can do about it. Anything not in that document, I need proof. Because that's making a claim. And he who makes the claim bears the burden of proof. That's it. So you're living under an assumption, everybody, we're living under an assumption that government is there for our benefit, and they're not. There never, ever, ever have been. Tell me a time in history where it's been good, where the people have not been screwed. There hasn't been a time in history. There hasn't. It's all nonsense. So, the British people have got to wake up, really, and start getting to grips with these facts. Things are not what they seem. So how do they get away with it? They use the state. The state is just a company. That's all it is. It's a company. So when Parliament's just been resolved...
United Kingdom Limited?
Sorry?
When they said the state, is that United Kingdom Limited? Is that what you
You change it every 5 years.
Yeah, but is that what you're on about?
No.
Okay.
No. The state, so you've got... the state is a company, right? And that company is called, in this case, the Crown. United Kingdom. Call it what you like, it's called the Crown. So it's like a group of companies, so that's head office basically. The Crown is head office, yeah? And the other 174 countries around the world are part of the UK's asset list. So when we talk about state, America is a state, Israel, every country on the planet is a state, therefore it's a private company. What's worth anything? Other than our time, what's worth anything? Just the resources under our feet. Systematically, they're removing everything from you. Systematically, one bit by one bit. Yeah? In the old that, nobody will ever fucking do anything about it. Because guess what? 800 years of fucking history proves that that's the case. Nobody's ever done fuck all about it. So, back to this speech, because this definition, so a state is a corporate entity by an act of registration. Yeah? A legal embodiment. So when you set up a company, that's what it creates. On paper it creates what's called a legal embodiment. Yeah? It's a piece of paper with a company that's been incorporated. But when you incorporate, it gives the company certain human rights. So that company can buy things. Do you understand that? Yeah? So it has certain human rights that can buy and sell property and assets. But ask yourself this, who's buying those assets? The company isn't buying them, is it? Somebody falling on behalf of the company is doing all that, yeah? And hiding behind the fucking company.
That would be the straw man, wouldn't it?
Always a straw man.
They're buying assets.
Listen, other than the men and the women in this room, there's only legal embodiments. We've got public and we've got private, right? So if you want to be part of the public, you'll have a job, you'll be a taxpayer, you'll be a citizen. All of these words are legal words. Citizen, taxpayer. They're all legally bullshit words. So when somebody asks you your name, what is your name?
I just say that.
What is your name?
That's it. I just get it.
It's not your fucking name.
That's what I'm just
When I was born, my mother gave me a name. She gave it me, so it's hers. Not my name. I'm me. I'm dad, brother, husband, father. Where the fuck does it say taxpayer or fucking citizen? Get caught up in all these words, it's all bullshit. They're all bullshit words to get you caught up. The minute you see tax, now you're responding as the taxpayer. That's what they want. That's why you need to know who you are.
Yeah, they're asking for your second name. But you're also just saying that your surname.
Now, let me ask you this. When you came into the world, did you have a name?
No.
No, your mum gave it you. Yeah? And you took your dad's last name. When you leave this earth, will you take that name with you?
Are you talking about the surname?
Any name. Any name, mate. Any name.
But the surname, I guess, was given you by the Vatican.
Garbage. You took your dad's last name, mate.
So where
That's what happens.
Who gave it to us? All of us got second name.
Absolutely.
So
you
The last name comes from a lineage.
Yeah,
That
from
would
state to
really
state.
to understand where your lineage comes from. like we have a house, and we created a house for that
It's a state.
straw man that was living under the rules of the government. Now he's not homeless anymore. Now he has a house behind it. Like all this House of Dr. Rothschild, all of that.
House of
Baron-
Windsor.
Baron David Wood was so clever that he got a house for his, or all of us, all our straw men, or whatever you want to call it.
When we came here,
No.
everything is bestowed upon us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we can't take it with us. We've got free use of everything while we're here. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And everything's left, even your £100.
So what you're basically saying, we shouldn't accept the first name either.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Right, let's get something really clear.
No.
Let's get something really clear. Do not be scared of that name.
Which one?
Right? Any of them. And understand what the name represents. The name has been usurped, yeah, through the birth certificate, through an act of registration, yeah, and a legal embodiment has been created, which means a company.
That's a certified copy of an entry you're talking about, or the birth certificate. You've got a certified copy of an entry.
Listen, all that's bollocks, man.
You've got it.
You're on about fucking...
Yeah, when your mother
lying
went in
birth
the
certificate, it's all
give away the
bollocks.
title.
It's all bollocks. It's all bollocks. It's a fucking act. That very act of registering something, well, it doesn't matter what you register, the very act of registering something creates a legal embodiment, a new company. No matter what you create, that's what they're after. They're after anything that you believe is yours.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, when you register, you give title away, is that correct? Same as done with the vehicles. Or the car.
No, because you can't, right, you can't register anything in the first place. It's fraud. Yeah? Everything that they believe they've registered is fraud because they didn't have any consent in the first place. So that's why you can't deregister something. Because it was never fucking registered. It was never registered in the first place. It was fraud.
In any voted the vehicles, you could get what the NSO did.
Absolutely.
But no, you can't.
Listen, there'll be people who will remember a time when you didn't need an MOT, you didn't need a fucking driving licence.
That's correct, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And over time, because people don't fucking say anything, we're getting away with this, let's make it formal. We're getting away with this, let's make it
For
formal.
your safety.
For your safety. It's always for your safety. So the only thing you need to remember is, if something's registered, unless you've registered it with full knowledge, that's the point. So even people working for the company who are the public, they've signed the contracts without full knowledge, haven't they? So therefore it's looking fine, so they're not the public.
The thing is today, you can't really get a job unless you
can't.
show a birth certificate
No, you can't.
or a driver's license or passport. Which is dead end.
You can. That's not true.
Well, this is what I'm
That's not true.
asking for a copy.
What you've got to do is know who you are and fucking force the situation. This is, I'm telling you, this is how it is.
No, not a birth
If
certificate.
they don't want to
Driver's
take you, you go
license
somewhere
or
else.
a passport.
You don't want to work for a scum company like that anyway.
You all ask for it. When I work, everybody asks for that.
That doesn't
Some
say
wages
anything.
are on there.
So this is where you come in. This is where you come in. Right, up to now, you only believe in things. You believe in things. And belief is a doubt. Yeah? Because you can't believe in something and know it. Yeah? Belief is a doubt. You need to know. Once you know, all the doubt.
I get what you're saying, you're spot on with all that, and I agree with everything. But in the world we live in today, you can't make a living unless you produce
Listen,
something.
mate, I'm going to call you on bullshit. I've got my own company and I make a beautiful living and I don't have a fucking driving licence or fuck all, but I make a nice living. So I'll tell you why.
Yes, please.
Because I've got a great big pair of balls and I'm not afraid to use them, mate. That's why. Any fucker that tells me I can't do something, the onus is on you to fucking prove it, mate.
So you're using your limited company to work?
No. I would never use a limited company.
It's a
Right.
little
I would never ever, all limited companies are what? Limited. Do you know what that means? Limited liability. So you can fuck somebody else up arse and then fault company. That's what they've been doing for 800 years.
Correct, yeah.
This is where we are.
So how do you make a living?
I fucking fucking, I'm not coming back. I phone people up and I say, I stick tiles on the wall, would you like any tiling? Oh, yes, I'll do that, that's what I do. And if they say, well, I need this certificate and that certificate, I say, fuck off, and I'll go somewhere else. And that's what I do, mate. And I make the
And
position
they pay you
clear.
in cash. You have to pay you in cash.
Every cash or in bank.
Otherwise, again, if you pay you in with a cheque or something, you've got to.
I don't accept
And a
checks.
account,
I don't accept checks.
which has got a mister on it.
I don't accept checks. Cash or.
Which is pretty hard to get these days,
Not really.
especially what I do.
So, we might need to do something else. I had to change my business completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a wall and floor tile commercial. Yeah, so all my work was schools, hospitals, all government entities, and I found shit out. So I fucking diversified, mate. I fucked all them off.
So what happens when the digital currency comes in?
Well, it's not coming, mate.
No.
It's bullshit.
But the QFS,
It's not happening.
it's already in.
It's bollocks. Listen, we've been fucking cashless for 150 years, right? There's 3 to 7% of the world's money is cash. If they were going to remove it, they'd have removed it. 150 years we've been cashless, all intents and purposes. Insolvency Act.
Yeah, it's fake money, isn't it? We normally know that.
So what went it before that?
So we all work for nothing.
Absolutely we are. Absolutely we are.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
So there's the realisation. So I'll ask you this question. What are you going to do about it?
This is why I'm here, trying to learn.
We're in a right shitty mess, mate.
Yeah, I agree with it.
The world is in a shitty mess. And as far as I can see it, the governments of the world are looking for an amnesty, as far as I can see it. They're never going to fucking admit what they've done. Ever, ever, ever. Well, there's that many people working for
They've
companies.
been to the fraud end, isn't it? And they won't do that.
Fraud's very difficult, mate. It's very difficult to pin on
Concealing
people.
the evidence, I should say.
It's not fraud as such. It's called misrepresentation.
Yeah.
Malfeasance in a public office.
Concealing, yeah.
Carries 25-year sentence. But guess what? In 800 years of that law standing, not one person's ever been to jail for fucking malfeasance. Yeah, so, but they can't now, I've told you that. How can they? Executive office, judiciary. Conflict of interest, so nobody's ever going to go to jail for it. Central government will go. And it's going to have to be at Paris level, but again, we're in a shitty mess, aren't we? And I still don't see people outside the council offices. I still don't see people gathering on street, doing anything about it.
It's lack of knowledge, they don't want to know. A lot of people just don't want to know.
Article 61.
Bullshit. Article 61, I'll wipe my ass with it.
Why?
Because it's a fucking... Did you consent to it? Where's your signature on it? It's bullshit. The kingdom before, so, before we had limited companies, we had a kingdom, didn't we?
Yeah.
When did you fucking consent to that then? It's all bollocks, mate.
And the others are going, eh?
Written by... Were you there?
No, but the others are
Were you there to prove it? Were you there to prove it, or are you making claims?
No, this is the others.
No, what's
Which
it?
is like, what's his name, Boris Johnson.
And where's your signature?
It's not on it.
It's not on it.
But that's what's running this lot now.
What's
Yeah,
what? What's what, sir?
It's called the others. Yeah, they're the ones that's running the show now. Which is Boris Johnson and all his cronies and the richest.
They're not running fuck
So
all.
anyway,
Boris
it's-
Johnson
we're
is not
running
running
it.
fuck all.
It
Right.
says in the document,
I want to ask you a question. Who built the roads?
Our
We did.
ancestors.
Who built the roads, actually?
We did.
We did.
People, all the others.
Who built everything?
The people.
The people.
And where did the wealth come from?
Who paid for it all?
The people paid for it. That's why we own everything. Well, you don't
No,
know.
you don't own fuck all. You don't own nothing. You own, and we've just proved that, haven't we? You own nothing and you'll never own anything. Ever. You own it in deed. You own it legally. You can't own fuck all. When you come, you can be notes, and you leave with notes. You don't own anything. And that is how we've tricked you. Yeah? Because we want stuff.
When
We
you
want
think
a
about
nice
it's
house,
amazing
a
that
nice
they've
car.
done it. You've got to take your hat off what they've done. They've actually,
They haven't done fuck all.
but
They haven't done nothing. You're now taking responsibility off yourself, aren't you? We We, not they, we. We've gone along with it and we've let them.
Yeah,
Not them, we.
because we've been
And
ignorant.
until we start taking responsibility for we, instead of pointing,
Yeah,
nothing will fucking change.
and that's what we want.
You
to
are the change.
Yeah.
But you have to force the change. Change just doesn't happen.
Well, that's what
If I get up
it's-
every day,
that's what
right,
you learn.
and I stare at the house for 8 hours a day, and I think, I'd love it to be blue. 8 hours, and I go to bed next day, come up, you know, and I stare at it. It won't be fucking blue until I've got off my house and painted it. Yeah?
Yeah,
That's action.
you're right. You've got to do something.
You've got to do something.
Yeah, that's
So
why
your first step is learning this document. Once you've learned this document, that is the basis for anything else going forward.
So are you saying the Magna Carta then was a load of bullshit?
I am saying it, absolutely.
Why are you saying that?
Because it's bullshit.
Why?
800 years of failed isn't bullshit.
Well, it was,
Who was it written for and who was it written by? Do you know where it comes from, the Magna Carta? So it stems from, 2 years previous, 1213, Pope Boniface.
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So King John gave England away. He had the fucking authority to give it away in the first place.
Well, that's when the first trust was made, isn't it?
First trust my ass, trust are all bollocks.
He did, Boniface done it. He knows it.
Absolutely, but it's still bullshit.
Yeah,
If
it
I
was-
write
but
on a
it's
piece-
true,
if I write on a
true.
piece of paper, I'm the fucking sexiest man in the world, is that true?
yeah.
Other than it obviously being true. You can write whatever you like down on a piece of paper, right? There's no signatures on fuck all, man. Nobody's agreed to nothing. Nobody's agreed to what the rules are.
So why did the barons then, in 2001,
Yes.
confront the Queen over treason documents, FCO/1048?
And what's happened since?
Well, but she was dethroned in 2001, wasn't she?
Really? Really?
Yeah.
These are all wild claims that you're throwing out there. Can you prove them?
Well, it was put out in the papers the next day.
I give up, mate. Honestly, I fucking give up. Really? Really? Who owns papers? Who?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
all
I
the
think so.
news in the
I know
world,
that they are.
all of the news in the world comes from two places. It don't matter what channel, it comes from Reuters,
Yeah.
and it comes from foreign press. That's it. All the news outlets in the world,
Yeah,
no
I'm
matter
well
what
aware
they are,
of that.
they come from there. And you're telling me you've read it in the newspapers, so
But what about the treason then? What do you do about treason?
Look, this fraud's been going on for so long, nobody's ever... How can it be fucking treason? There isn't a fucking king. How can it be treason? Who agreed to the king? You're assuming that there's a king. There has to be a king for there to be treason.
I'm not convinced. The Magna Carta, I'm absolutely convinced on it.
Okay, did you sign it?
Yes,
Can I
that's
see
fine.
your
Well, no, no.
That's fine.
Did you
Right.
agree with it? It's your agreement then? It's your
Of
agreement.
course I wasn't there.
No, of course you were. So how can it
Now,
possibly...
we are here now,
Yeah.
okay? I can create an agreement, and we both can sign it. Then you will be responsible for yourself, for your actions, words and deeds. And from this moment on, the moment you leave this room, you're gonna be executing the Magna Carta to its fullest. Can you agree on that?
Well, it was written in perpetuity, wasn't it?
Well, for who?
For who?
With who?
For who?
That people.
For us.
I'll tell
Are we
you,
gonna still live in
the men and
world
women that
of
document
debt?
applies to is the country that signed it, and that's it. Yeah? And for 800 years they've been shitting on you. So let's
What
talk
is
to them.
you?
Well, do you know what, do you understand what a baron even is? Let's talk about that word, what a baron is.
Yes,
What's a baron?
somebody who was allocated land
Title,
to sit.
right, so it's a title baron. You're talking about a title baron, title. So a title can only be bestowed. Right, so it was given to him. Right, you're a baron. We're all barons. Every one of us, by natural descent, just for being born. Non-titled. Anything with a title, anything with a title is man fucking made.
So perfect. Go to the Latin, go through
Oh,
6
oh.
languages, and you will find what a baronman is.
It's a baron.
I'm from
Just,
Portugal.
just off the land,
We
that's
still
it.
have the culture of the first-born son being a baron, which is the Latin word, yeah? So, there is a thing called tradition that you can find in this document as well. tradition. That's what we should be doing, and instead we are following policies of those fuckers that are doing whatever they want to be doing.
But I mean,
So-
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Do you mind me asking how old you are?
Me, 73.
Okay. Have you ever murdered anybody?
I don't think so.
Okay, why?
it won't be long.
Because it's against the rules of the Bible, if you like.
Okay.
We ain't got it before.
That's okay.
Not because you don't want to.
So you're only not murdering people because of what you told you not to do.
There's times I could murder people.
Do you see my point I'm making? It's fucking models, mate. And while ever you've got the Bible, or the Magna Carta, or the government, the crutches, that's what they are. They allow people, to not be fucking responsible for themselves. The crutches is what they are. So, you need a book, the Bible, in order to tell you to stop murdering people. Well, Christ, that was written. Because if it hadn't been, you'd have been a fucking serial killer. Do you see where I'm coming from? You don't rape because you know it's wrong.
Yes.
You don't murder because you know it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's not because some fucking dickhead in London tells us, oh, you mustn't do it. You do it because it's not right, mate. You do it because you don't want it done to you. That's generally what we do, isn't it? We don't do things to other people because we don't want it done to us.
So where do we get redress then?
Yeah, we don't have the law. We haven't got the law for looking.
No, there is no law.
So there's no law,
one's
there's no
agreed to
legal.
law. No one's agreed to what the rules are. Yeah? So, how do you get redress? There's only one redress, and that's through that lien. And that affidavit.
Which they're not going to take any notice of anyway.
Why would you be?
How do you tell a criminal?
I got
Stop being
I
a
got
criminal.
success.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah? Pressure. Right, why are they not doing anything? Well, every fucker in your street does know facts. They're all sat behind the doors, aren't they? And they should know facts. But they don't know facts. Because they'll be squeezed enough yet. Yeah? They've got a nicer lifestyle than you or I, because they'll be squeezed enough just yet. They don't care enough.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We're only here to serve each other. That's it. That's it. We're here to serve one another.
So how do we bring this whole rotten system down?
Yeah.
You and I won't do that. It's already happened. It's secular. It's happened before. It will happen again.
But you bring it down in your mind, it's a construction of your
It's
mind.
only you, so you can't change the world, but what you can do is you can change your perception of it. That's all you can do.
All I have for the last 4 years.
Well, that's all you can do. You can do what I did. As soon as I found out about this, I wrote my own liens, my own redress. Well, I've got these 52 liens and they don't take any notice. No, they don't necessarily. But I don't need them to. I know the fucking truth and the facts. And I've got it on paper, agreements.
And
Yeah.
we don't do the liens with greed in our hearts.
How did
Because we learn
you
that we
manage
can
to
do
do
nothing if we
before
know nothing.
Baron David Board?
Say it to it.
How did you manage before Baron David Board done this?
We were
Well,
just like.
it
We
was-
were just like anybody else, I was looking into common law and...
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you why, what's steering me against it. I looked into common law, as everybody else does. But I thought to myself, after a while, after about 10 years, I thought, there's fucking brighter people than me. Much brighter people than me. But yet, everyone's failing. They're all using these documents and not what's happening. They're all failing because, of course they're failing. Because it's bullshit. Common
No,
law.
but,
Do you understand? Well, common law creates precedents, yes.
Yes.
Yes. So the precedents from the legislation.
No.
The legislation is legal.
Exactly. Yes. And the legal.
Absolutely. Lawful and legal is what's the bollocks, man.
I don't know about that. You got to stand there and
What there is,
legal.
there's right and fucking wrong. That's what there is. And your mums and dads have taught you that. Everybody knows right from wrong. Everybody. But when we look down to Westminster and we see everybody else getting away with it, we do a bit of wrong, don't we? Or they do a bit of wrong, and we do a bit of wrong, and a little bit more. And then, I mean, what's fraud? Can you have a little bit of fraud or a lot of fraud? Fraud's fucking fraud. End of. End of story. Fraud's fraud. So all this 800 years of bollocks, that's exactly what it is. 800 years of
I'm not on board with that at all.
absolute bollocks. Well, show me some evidence. Show me some evidence.
Well, you know we can't. Because,
I know you
because
can't.
it's going back 800
Because there
years.
isn't any.
Although it's...
Right, I'll tell you what, I'll show you,
Magna Carta.
I'll show you some evidence. This legal agreement here. This is here and now, legally agreed. What evidence have you got that Magna Carta? That proves that Magna Carta doesn't exist.
Well, the Magna Carta it's in various places, isn't it? What was written on that day? What's that?
It has no, but it has, this was different, this is very different. This has a
Are we
two-page
still living in
declaration.
back then?
This is a two-page declaration. You can rely all you want on Magna Carta. It's entirely up to you.
Well, the Magna Carta is no different to that, is it?
Of course it is.
Why?
Because it's fucking legislative.
You do.
It's legislative is what it is.
Well, the Magna Carta all that.
Magna Carta. Everybody says it's fucking, there is no
Well, legislation started with Parliament, didn't it?
It was right.
Started when Parliament evolved.
Absolutely.
But Magna Carta, we had no Parliament there.
Right. If you show me my signature on the Magna Carta, right, I will happily stand under it. Happily. Happily. What you're asking me to do is, you're asking me to stand under the policy of McDonald's. That's what you're asking me to do. The kingdom was a company. Yes, it was a company.
No, I don't agree.
And then they formalised it through Parliament and everything since. It's all bollocks. There's no agreement in place to what the Magna Carta is.
Well, they've tried bringing out other the 1225. It was all designed to water down the first.
Okay, so who's going to agree to that? Do you understand how right, so this is how government works. Right, this is how it works. They believe that they have your consent. Yeah? And on the back of that consent they can create legislation. Yeah? That's how it's
That's what they
set up.
got. Yeah.
That's how it's set up. Yeah?
Yeah.
So where's the consent?
Well, there is no consent.
And nor has there ever been. And nor has there ever been.
But you see, this has to start off from basic rules, yeah?
Why does it? Why does it? Why does it?
Because
in your tiny little mind, maybe.
Excuse me, I haven't travelled all the distance I have, which is from
To
Southport.
listen to the bullshit of
Listen
Magna
to an
Carta.
argument.
I'll tell you what,
You two.
we will have the discussion maybe afterwards.
I've come down
Thank
to
you.
listen to your presentation,
Thank
and I
you.
would like you
Yes.
to give your presentation
I
without
know.
all the blood interruptions.
We can have this conversation another time, but I'll be honest with you. I've had that conversation a million times, and I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
no, it's a fair point, what's made.
Right, so we'll go back to affidavit.
Thank you.
So we've done a couple of exhibits, but I'm just going to skip back to the very first exhibit, which is the 12 presumptions of law. Fascinating. There are more than 12, but the main ones are these 12 presumptions. So the presumption of public record, the presumption of public service, the presumption of public oath, the presumption of immunity, the presumption of summons, the presumption of court of guardians, the presumption of custody, and the presumption of the trustees. But the Government Act, they take on two roles, basically, the executive and the beneficiary. So, you've got fucking no chance, basically. So these come from, this is canon law. If anybody's aware of canon law, ecclesiastical law, I can't remember which one it is, 692 now, I can't remember, but that is where this comes from. So, as I said, everything in this affidavit existed before David. It was him that put it all together, that was all. Those 12 presumptions, it should really be called 12 presumptions of court, actually, because they are presumptions. These presumptions are in place the moment you walk into a courtroom. Yeah, that's why we don't. There's no reason to use a courtroom. There's just no reason. Again, the judiciary is down here, yeah, and I'm here. Not even me. My legal embodiment's here. Judiciary, Scott Herbert, the legal embodiment. Yeah, because I'm the principal. My legal embodiment is the principal. So, the state is the principal. H. Parliament Government PLC is just a company attached to the principal. And that's all we are. Our sister companies. So all you've got to do is formally to challenge a presumption formally. You've just got to challenge it. Yeah?
How do we get hold of that document?
It's in the affidavit. Yeah? So, the definition of a presumption is an idea that is taken to be true on the basis of probability. As a presumption is a presumption on which must be agreed by the parties to be true, then and equally. If one party challenges the presumption to be true on the basis of probability, then this is all that is recognised to be required to remove that presumption as a formal challenge to the presumption. But how can you formally challenge something if you don't know it's in place? So, where are we up to? Do you want to go to these? We've done C. D. Again, this, we could just use this. So, a lot of people will say to me, well, if our legislation's in the bin, why do we rely on the Companies Act? Because it's in the affidavit. David kept it alive. He needed to keep it alive for this process. Because that is the Companies Act of 2006. The execution of documents. So all documents between companies. Yeah? Company to company. Yeah? Two dead entities. A man can't converse with the dead, so they need two dead entities, but they need you to act on behalf of your legal embodiment, because a company can't pick up a pen. So everything has to be signed by two authorised signatories, or by the director of the company in the presence of a witness who attests to the signature, or it must bear the company seal. Common seal. Every company's got a common seal. Every company. So if you ever get a warrant and there's no company seal on it, you know it's Mickey Mouse. No judge in the country will ever issue a warrant because he can't. He hasn't got the authority. That's why he can't. That's why you'll never see him signed. Ever. So really, you could just rely on that. Yeah? Two words really need to be remembered. Obligation and liability. Yeah? When you're obligated to perform. You can only ever be obligated under contract. So the word obligation really exists inside of the contract. So when you've got a job and you go to work for 8 hours a day, you get remunerated at the end of the week, you've agreed that, you've signed it, your boss has signed it. Yeah. That's a contract. Simple. Simple fact is the same, nothing.
So when you get a letter through the door and it's not signed, you've got to question why. Why don't they sign the council tax bill?
Well, for the first question dealing with council tax is, piece of paper, yeah? Who is the council? Send it back.
Can you do that at any point? Like, let's say you've been paying up,
Yes.
you know, and then you discover this sort of stuff.
Well, you've just discovered new evidence. So absolutely. Yeah. But you know, just a little simple thing like that. Well, who's the council? I'm paying money to council. For what? Who is the council?
It's a building.
It's not even a building, pal. It's a piece of paper. That's what it is. It's that building is ours. That's the mental thing. It's not. It's a piece of paper saying that a council exists. So when you register something, for instance, if I were to register this laptop, yeah, I'd have a piece of paper saying that there's been a laptop registered, but there'd be a laptop there. I've got the physical object, yeah. So where the fuck is Mr. Scott Herbert? He only exists on paper. Where is it? The physical Mr. Scott Herbert? It doesn't exist.
They tell us it's a construction of the mind, because why do you pay council tax? You got told to, didn't you, by your mum and dad? And they used to say, oh, we've got to pay our taxes, we've got to pay our council tax. So it's been constructed in your mind as a kid that you must pay this stuff. Because no one from a representative of the government's never knocked on your door and demanded money from you. You freely give it to them. Because you don't know.
It's us.
These
We're the
facts.
issue. And you know why we're the issue? Because we believe. We don't know. We believe. And then we doubt ourselves. Because that's what belief is, a doubt.
Because all this stuff is readily available information. Chandranka Kathas tells us that it's a corporate entity. That's on the government website. That beeps and speaks on the government website. It's all on there.
It's telling you. That's the physics of telling us all. Where are we up to? The insanity of tax. It's a great little story, actually. Well, I'm not going to read it to you, but it's a great little story. And once you've read it, yeah, it's all really in layman's terms. See, it's just so obvious. It's so obvious. Well, that's what we do every day. And when you read it, you think, oh, whoever does that must be right, idiots. That's us. So in real terms then, we're talking probably now about 92% of anything that you earn goes back in tax in one form or another. Yeah? So when we say there's a tax back out, so anybody who gets paid out of taxpayers' purse, as we've discussed, they're paying their own wages. And it's only the public. But they've tricked us into believing that we are the public. And I have checked for the public highway, but I can't see it. I just see a road that we fucking built. So everything's taxed on taxed. To the point where we're in debt by trillions, but to who? You just have the money confiscated, that's it. While we're all sleeping. Every tax, there isn't a single tax that exists that isn't fraudulent in one way or another. It's through legislation, and all legislation is in print. So I love that little story. I've also read on Morrison's show, and it takes you through the whole process of John the farmer, and his little house and his little farm, and getting it to the shelf, and it shows you every step of the way out. He takes his bit of tax, he takes his bit of tax, he takes his bit of tax, then there's fuel, and there's this. So by the time you're done, so for like a £100,000 house, is it really worth £100,000? No. It's worth the materials. Yeah? So it's worth about 15 grand in real terms. But they bullshit you with inflation. So again, I'll let you read that one in comfort of your own house. So nobody gets paid, which ties back into that. Nobody gets paid. No one's ever been paid. We've got fiat currency. So you can't pay with a debt instrument. Yeah? Fiat currency is a debt instrument. Yeah? It tells you on the note. Yeah? We'll swap it for £20 of silver. Which, by the way, I've tried and they don't. So for at least 150 years, no one's ever been paid, and no one's ever paid for anything. Because how can you pay with a debt instrument? You can't pay for something with a debt, or a future debt. It's impossible. So this black hole gets wider and wider and wider and wider, and it's us that are on the precipice. Yeah, the companies can't give a toss. It's us that are left saddled with the shit. So all they do is, of course, the companies out there, what? Yeah, like they do. And because it's a legal embodiment, unless someone's died, no fucking ever happens. I mean, even gold, even what's gold? gold money? Is it? Is it money? It's gold money.
It's metal.
Metal. Thank you, metal. Who decided it was money then? Somebody at some point, yeah? It's more money than fiat currency, I suppose. It's still not really, it's a form of, money is you want a form of exchange, something fungible, so you can take it anywhere it's worth saying, yeah? So if I take my £10 note from England, and I go anywhere in the world, it's not worth 10 quid. It's worth more or less. That's not fungible. That's why gold used to be used, because you can take it anywhere, it's just a gold coin. Well, they removed all gold, and they're still confiscating it. It's not really fucking matter, gold's only fucking metal. It's irrelevant. So nobody's ever been paid. So I didn't pay for things. Yeah, so you go to Asda, you make an offer, you think you're making an offer of payment, you actually give it in fraud. That's how crazy this world is. Offer and acceptance, isn't it? Yeah? Pardon me. So yeah, there we go. There's the fundamentals to any agreement. Full disclosure by both parties. Agreed consideration by both parties. Do you know what consideration is? What are you going to potentially lose if this goes tits up? Yeah, you're both going to put something into the deal. Yeah? So when you buy your house, if you don't pay your mortgage, they take your house. What have they put up? What was their consideration? Nothing. Nothing. So there is no money, so they can't lend you any money. Your signature created that cash. You're the creditor. Yeah? That's what a promissory note is. A promissory note is legal tender, cash. Yeah? Not money, but legal tender. That's what it is, not cash. So when you go to the bank and you go, oh, I've got a mortgage, and they say, sign that. And you sign it, guess what that is? That's a promissory note. That's cash. Yeah? And then they take it off you, and they put it into your account, and you believe they've given you money from their account into your account. That's not what's just happened. Yeah, we can get into banks. No, I like getting into banks, because the banks are special purpose vehicles, as that's all they are. Because governments can't create money by themselves, they're not allowed to, as part of being a government. You're not allowed to create money. So they use banks through licenses to create money. That's it. So yeah, the license gives, any license gives permission to do something which would be otherwise illegal. That's what a license is. So they're licensed to banks. There is no cash. There is no money. Just proving bullshit. So you're basically borrowing from tomorrow. Yeah? From your own state. They were always yours, because you're a baron. Yeah, the banks will tell you, it's not obvious when you see through the veil. There is no cash to lend. Yeah, you're borrowing from the future. Well, how can they do that? Because you're going to work your ass off up to that future. And that's it. It's the only thing that's really worth anything. Resources aren't worth anything. They're only worth what, yeah? They're worth as much as you need them. For instance, if you were drowning and I threw you a mint, but I kept hold of the life jacket, you'd want fucking life jacket, wouldn't you? Yeah? It's all perspective. There's only you that's worth all. Because there's only you that can create anything. That's it. So the banks have shafted us. It's not really the government aren't in charge, they're the puppets. Yeah? The banks are in charge. That's it. Government is there, it's like an onion. Yeah, so we all go shouting at government while bankers are looking down at the coins. So, well, I'll read this through because this explains it nicely actually. So, the account holder signs the bank loan, so that's us, yeah? Signs the bank loan or contract or mortgage or credit agreement, yeah? The bank officer does not. So there's no agreement or contract. So I sign it, he doesn't. Okay? The bank also fails to disclose to the account holder that the account holder created an asset. Talked about that, haven't they? So as you put, that signature is key. They need that signature, they can't act without it. So as soon as you put that signature on that paper, that's now an asset that can be traded. The bank fails to disclose, so there's no offer of consideration. So what I'm telling the bank is, if I fail to pay my mortgage, you come to my house. Yeah? But there's nothing from the other way. So the bank fails to give the account holder a receipt for deposit of the account holder's assets or commercial instruments. That's because we haven't deposited anything. We've given it back to them as a loan. The bank fails to disclose to the account holder that the account holder's signature created a credit that is claimed by the bank as a loan to the borrower. So, if you've got any money in bank, we've all got a bit of cash in bank, ain't you? It's not yours. It belongs to the bank. That's what the bank is a special purpose vehicle that takes loans from the fucking public. Through fractional reserve lending, it's allowed to create 9 times the amount it has on deposit. So if the UK public people put £1 million on deposit, they can create 9 times that and lend it back. And then everything that they've just created, they can times that by 9. Because Anthony gets a loan for £1 million. The bank then can create £9 million in other loans, so it lends it to me and him. Then it can create another fucking 9 times off that. So £1 million can become £1 trillion in no time. And that's all then added to compound interest. You ain't paying it back. You ain't enough lifetimes to pay it back when you compound interest. Never ever going to happen. Somebody gets paid. That goes back to what you said earlier. We're all doing it for nothing. So I'll tell you why. It's the one you're on an hamster wheel, yeah? So you're too fucking tight to get off and do anything about anything else, and that's why the one was there. So, this is Gavin's favourite. An Englishman's home. So, again, it should probably read, a man's home is his castle, and then it's more universal. But this is doctrine, this is castle doctrine. Why do we use this? Because it's doctrine, it's 1,000 years old, minimum. Yeah, that we know of. This goes way back. So it's a legal doctrine that designates a person's abode or any legally occupied place, vehicle or workplace as a place in which that person has certain protections and immunities. It's a doctrine, absolutely. And it's a doctrine, not a law. Tradition, almost. Yeah. How do you create a tradition? By doing the same things over and over again? People generally do the same things over and over again for benefits them. Yeah. So if you're asking people to shit in the hands in the clan, they might do it once, but that's it. So that tradition's going to die. Yeah, but another a tradition that benefits people, they'll happily do it. They'll happily continue. So the legal concept of the inviolability of the home has been known in Western civilization since the age of the Roman Republic. The term derives from the historic English common law dictum that an Englishman's home is his castle. The concept was established in English law in the 17th century by Edward Coke. The dictum was carried by colonialists to the New World, who later removed English to a man's home. Thereby, it simply became the castle doctrine. So that's why we rely on it, because it's been around for at least 1,000 years, and it benefits us, yeah? So why wouldn't we rely on it? So then, the rest of this, I believe, is case law. Bailiff case law, really, just to give you some confidence.
But even then, in their system,
So, even within their system that's fraudulent, we know it to be fraudulent. But to them it's not. I mean, really, there's about 20 or 30 in here. I won't even bother with any of them, apart from the first one. Thorne versus Mackenzie, 1969. If the debtor strikes the bailiff over the head with a full milk bottle after making a forced entry, the debtor is not guilty of assault, because the bailiff was there illegally. So you could change that milk bottle to a baseball bat or a fucking bag of dog shit, anything. Just have it in there.
She keeps on saying, if I hit them with a knife, stab them with a knife.
I mean, a knife, look, a knife's a different thing, isn't it? Because a knife's really, its only purpose is to do damage.
Yeah, there is a crime.
So, I would say, for me, it's dishonourable to have a knife there, because that's premeditated. Have a bat in your back door, that's different.
Yeah, so don't do it.
That's very different. Even though it's premeditated, you're not trying to kill them. There's a chance you can kill somebody with a knife. We're not trying to say that there's no law that exists, but as we've discovered, none of us here have murdered or raped. And we've done that without fucking people telling us, because we've got morals. We know right from wrong, yeah? We know that when somebody comes to our door, demanding monies with menace, we know that's not right. Yeah, this is not about getting out of anything. If you've got a debt with your mate, pay it. Yeah? This is none of this. If anything, this is about being honourable.
Next time you
They are not honourable. They're in dishonour completely. So it's not difficult to stay in honour. It's really not difficult.
Well, this is the main reason people just pay and comply, because they're worried about the bailiff turning up.
Yeah.
And I've had them turn up, Scott's had them, Carla, Susie,
They're not
and
worth a whack.
they take any of them I know. Because I know what to say to them, and I know what they can and can't do. And what they can do is nothing.
Can you give us an example for people who've not experienced it?
Well, I had one turn up at my yard threatening to take equipment or a truck if I didn't pay it within 48 hours. 48 hours came and went, never come back, and he never came back. I've had him turn up at the house, say, yeah, if you don't pay out 24 hours, we're coming back, we'll take one of your vehicles.
Yeah, but
And
you,
that was.
you did scare them off, didn't you?
Well, yeah. Well, the one in the yard, he's trespassing, so I highlighted that to him. Then it's aggravated trespass because he hasn't moved, so I grabbed him and threw him out because I know what I can do and I know what he can't do.
That's what you need to really get to grips with. And the only way to do it is to read, not just this, but read. What are their rules? Yeah, because they every one of them are bound. They're bound by policy. Yeah, and it ties them up in knots. So Big Bad Bailiff can say whatever he wants. But saying and doing are two very, very, very different things. Susie, give us your story. Give us your story. She's dealt with bailiffs.
7 o'clock in the morning, woke up to banging on the door. Don't ring the bell. Bang, bang, bang on the door. They do that on purpose, to allow the neighbours to shame you into paying. So I stuck my head out the window, and I did the old woman. What is it? And he said, is your name Suzanne Keelock? And I said, there's no one of that name living here. You're trespassing, please leave. And I shut the window. Got him, got dressed as quick as I could. Went down, got a clamp on my car. So I opened the boot, got the spare wheel out, jacked it up, and Charles started to change the wheel. He came over, he said, I'm filming you. He said, if you change that wheel, I'm ringing the police. So I changed the wheel, got in the car. He said, if you drive that car away, you'll be committing an offence. So I drove it up the drive and locked the gate behind it. Went back to pick up the wheel with the clamp on. He said, if you take that clamp off, you're committing a criminal offence. So I took the clamp off and slid it back down the driveway. And I stood there and waited for the police. And my elbow was on the gate. Here comes a policeman in the car. He went to walk in the gate and I slapped the gate latch back down and wouldn't let him in. I said, you're not coming in, it's trespass. He said, I can come in to arrest you. I said, this is a civil matter. So he stayed there, he stayed the other side of the gate. Can't argue with me about it. I said, he hasn't got a warrant. I can't remember my argument. But anyway, he sends the back up. Here comes another policeman in the car. This one just stands there, doesn't say anything, just stands there. Still arguing with him about, he hasn't got a warrant. Show me the warrant. The bailiff wouldn't show me the warrant because he didn't have one. So he sends, I'll send my sergeant to come and explain to you. So here comes the sergeant in a paddy wagon. Tells him he hasn't got a warrant. He said, can I see your paperwork? So I showed him the paperwork, the letter that he put through the door, and the sticker that he put on the car. And he says, none of this is from the court. Off he toddles to have a word with the bailiff who's been sitting in his car all this time. And then he comes back and he says, well, we rang the bailiff's office and they have got stuff from the court, but I'm satisfied that he hasn't got anything from the court, so he won't do anything that he can't proceed at this time, but he'll be back. And off they all went. That was it.
Have they been back, Suze?
No.
Yeah. You've got to lose the fear.
And you've got your car still.
Yeah.
You've got to lose the fear. Right? When there's a big burly bloke outside, right, it's intimidating. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
And they've clonked your car. It's
Yeah.
intimidating. But you know what? Nobody's going to stick up for you, like you will. Yeah? Nobody will stick up for you. Like, I'm not going to beat your front door, so help you. I want that Suze's front door. We can give all the advice online as we want. Doorstep challenge, we call it. It's a doorstep challenge. Everybody's got to go. Once you start this line, everybody has to put it out there. Because these cretins are using legislation to hide behind to put the fucking fear of God upon us. Yeah? To pay their wages. But the beautiful thing is, all these bailiffs, they're all self-employed. So if they don't get paid off you, they ain't getting paid. They're all self-employed, so clamps, obviously. Don't let anybody see you do anything, but I've seen 1 or 2 in bins. Think about this, you're self-employed, you have to pay for them themselves.
Yeah.
Who's going to stand there and allow someone to take things off you without at least putting up some sort of fine? Yeah, we have to. But it just proves, if you stand your ground and you know what you're talking about, you know what you can do, and I mean nothing. One of this town, how long ago that, Suze?
Over years.
Over a year. That's just losing fear. That really is just losing fear. When somebody started this process, like the rest of us, you know nothing. None of us did. None of us knew nothing.
I had one at my door, dressed like something out of Almo's world. 4.5 weeks we've got. And he's professional at first, and he tries to get personal. They want to pay your bill. It's not a bill, it's demand, first of all. If it was a bill before the doors of exchange, you have to say, I had a good conversation with him. And they might be fucked up after 4.5 minutes. I ain't had nothing since, no letters. But they usually send letters on the 11th of every month.
Well, the brilliant thing is, right, so, again, these are their rules. So how it works is, the council apply for the warrants, but then they've got to give that warrant, so-called, to the third party bailiff. So there should be another piece of paper called a deed of assignment. So the judge gives the council authority through the so-called warrant. Then the council have to give the third party authority on their behalf through a deed of assignment. So whether there's a warrant or not, it should be a deed of assignment.
Which even
Yeah,
in their system,
and it should be signed.
in their system, there's something very wrong going on, because according to their book, Alsford's law of England states that no magistrate can exist in England. So we have these guys going to the magistrate court in bulk. Yeah, because we are all one. Don't forget about that. Go in bulk and then decide whatever they want in a case of millions, 2,000, 10,000, 5,000, whatever thousand, yeah. And everything happens after, because we don't question things. We get scared. I called the magistrate court, I bought the book Alsford's Laws of England, I went to that length because I want to know, is this since I discovered that document, I promised to myself that I would not be naive like I've been this time, just believing in what other people tell me. My mom, my dad, my this, my that, because yeah, because the other one have to respect your elders because they know best. This is what I have to
Some
say.
do, some do.
Well,
Most don't, unfortunately, most
some
don't.
will do with the facts now, because otherwise we will continue to do the same things over and over again based in fear. Because that's all we are drive through, fear. Fear drives you to go and discover other things. Fear drives you to go and not want to know about other things. Fear drives you because you do this and that and that. Yeah, I have people telling me, you are not from this country. Don't touch those things. They will kick you out. I'm still fucking here.
Yeah.
Still here.
And I went outside in August with my own passport, and they just didn't give a fuck about me.
Yes.
Yeah. They didn't care.
You've used your passport.
Oh, yes, I did. Proudly, because I'm a fucking baroness, and I know I am, and I know that I'm not a thing.
You have pushed their boundaries. How do we know? So, how did I know that when I received my council tax bill, how did I know where it was from? Shit, I've got a summons. Well, I need to phone court. Oh, I'm looking for anything. Oh, there's nothing, no case numbers for that. No. In fact, this is what they told me. In fact, you'd be better off ringing council because it's them that issue the summons. Oh, okay. How the fuck does that work? How the fuck does that work? Back to council. Oh, I need to speak to somebody. Well, we haven't established who you are yet. Council. We haven't established who they are yet, but now I'm jumping gun.
Give us the account's number.
Yeah, who set that account up? they tell me that there's an account number and there's £2,000 owed. I never agreed to an account. I never agreed to anything.
Courts give out case numbers, not reference numbers.
Court can't give out now.
No.
They're not worth a blank. None of them. Don't matter who they
They're
are.
renting the courts, the council, aren't they?
It's what, sorry?
Yeah, a room.
They're
Well,
renting the courts.
No.
Not as such. Who owns that courtroom? The actual building?
Us.
Well, yeah, but the council had to own it all.
It,
The court is yours, aren't they? They've never been courts, magistrates' courts, ever. Yeah, it's a court is yours. Bullshit.
They're all registered companies, aren't they?
All registered companies. Or with the CEO, who I've got 4 liens against, Mr. Benjamin Wood. Yeah.
They
So,
all like
that-
to go to LinkedIn and like, not sure themselves.
So I chase these people. I chase them.
there's no paperwork between any of them anymore. They changed their own regulations, so one of them confirmed it to me that there's basically no paperwork that changes hands. Yet they've obtained a summons.
So that means there's no public record, is what that means.
But to obtain means
They're not allowed to act as a court.
here it is. That means it's obtained.
No. So that means there is no court of record.
Yeah.
So, that's what we do. A lien, which is the redress, is a court of record. So that's your redress. For anybody just to learn about liens, I really get my head around this document first. Because that document is the basis to all the rest of the paperwork. So what you have to ask yourself is, when I first started, you ask yourself, okay, I need to know this shit because I'm not going to a court. But if they're dragging me there, which they might do, I need to know this shit. I need to know what I'm fucking talking about. So I've got court record. So when they come to me and say, you haven't paid this, you haven't paid that, I say, whoa, there's a fucking agreement here. Telling you exactly what's going on. Where's their court record? You know, we've got one.
Well, they claim this 1992 thing, don't they?
What the local government finance act. It's an act.
Yeah.
An act of parliament. And all acts of parliament went in the bin.
Yeah.
When that affidavit went unrebutted, signed off by the executive office.
And the same thing is happening in a lot of countries. Canada, Portugal, France.
This document's transferable.
India.
Any country, any country where there's acts and statutes.
So when you guys ask, oh, what can we do? Look,
Some,
tons of
absolutely.
it, well, you have to put it on the record. It's you who has to put it on the record. You need to understand that a name you give to things. Are you a thing or are you a man or a woman? That's the first thing you need to define. And then you need to stand your ground on that. And you need to stop the bullshit that's been behind you.
The beliefs.
Yeah, you need to say it ends here. I will not accept that people come to me and tell me things and I have to believe them. Okay, show me the proof then. We can have an argument, we can debate. It's good because we are exchanging information and I'm growing in one way, you are growing on another way. And yeah, it's healthy, but I'm not going to simply take your word for it without you showing me the evidence. I have the evidence because I've been working, I have my course of record. I've already worked with the affidavit. I have done means here. I've done it in Portugal. I've been teaching other people and having other people when going to with big court cases where 2 kids were taken from them and it was like four barons. We sit on the computer. Each one of us go pick 2 barons with the parents, take the kids out of the institution, and they are with their parents. So
We
I
have to
mean,
force this issue
yeah.
with the facts. Not force us in fighting. That ain't ever going to win.
No.
That's what they want.
Yeah, that baron went there, the girls, because they don't know, because, I mean, if you ask me, who are we fighting? We are fighting each other.
Completely.
That's the reality.
Look at the men and women out in government. The men and women in your street. Yeah, the local councillors, they're our colleagues, friends,
They want to protect
neighbours.
their.
Gotta pay your taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's what we are fighting. So, I mean, if you don't have what it takes, don't do it. Keep being a lovely slave, go on with your life.
Like you say, you've got to lose the fear, haven't you?
The force us into fear.
Yeah.
We're all living in fear, one level or another, because that's part of the programme, it's part of the indoctrination programme. It makes us into good citizens. When we're in fear, like Carla says, it disables you.
They took the
You're not able to move forward, are you,
What
mentally?
we have here, I remember when I was a kid back in Portugal, this used to be our Saturdays and Fridays. Bingo, balls, I remember my grandparents dancing and meetings and, there was a community. So people were not looking at, oh, you're not paying taxes. Oh, the buildings that this is what they created. We allowed this to be created because now we are more into, oh, let's see what she has. Does she have a Gucci bag or this or that?
Materialistic world, into the capitalism.
So we thought that I take this for me because most of the times I like to dress well, but that's me. I like to be like that, And most of the times people, I have people say, oh, but you don't use money. You are an hypocrite. Well,
we're all hypocrites, every one of us.
if there are 8 billion, I am one of those because I cannot wait for the 8 billion to make up their fucking minds that we are living in a shit show. So I have to still
Move on, move
I
forward.
have to still use what I have to do. Otherwise, what's the point?
It's the Roman bread and circus, isn't it, as well?
Nothing's changed. Nothing's ever changed. Yes.
When you say that the document's transferable,
Yes.
do you have to change the name on it to
No.
your own?
No.
Or you can just send that as
If you're using that document, you can use it exactly as it is. You don't need to change a single word. Why? Because it's already accepted and agreed. Spelling mistakes and all. Yeah? We hear that a lot. I'm a dyslexic.
I
Yeah?
think that we were talking about precedent. This is what
Precedent.
yeah, so you can use it. But in the case of when we say that you need to change it, because I have to present a new country.
Yes.
They didn't know. So since 2020, I did the it's been, yeah, it's been not as fast as we want, but it's getting some momentum, you know? And so you can do that, and then you have to create your house, and you have to have this in your press, yeah? And, then do the
Well, we're looking at the-
one thing that I want to point out very important is for people to understand why the crescent seal. And, like Scott was saying, it's an active yeah, so instead of being afraid of your name, you have to embrace
You have to embrace the legal embodiment name.
Yeah,
And me, just a man, yeah?
yeah.
Legal
That-
embodiment
yeah.
name is Mr. Scott Herbert, but that doesn't define who I am. I'm me, I'm dad, I'm husband, I'm everything that I asshole at times, yeah, yeah. All of them things, but I'm not any of them, am I? Yeah? I'm all of them, but I'm none of them. The name is a name.
You
given
answer
to us.
to a name, not a name. You answer to, and you decide whether you want to stand surety for that name.
And that's what's going on. That's the debt. You know all this debt? You, men and women, are the surety for that debt. Guarantor for the trillions and trillions.
So going back to tradition, the surname, yeah, so where your house comes into the equation, it's because only men has a chromosome that is passed on to the men generation to generation to generation. So this is tradition, okay? Only the men can pass that chromosome to the uncles, to the cousins, men got that family. Us women, the fathers don't pass that chromosome to us, okay? So, why is this coming as the Vatican bringing the surname into the equation? Because they know that if 100 years have passed, but I dig your bones, and I dig someone else's bones, and if I do a DNA exam, I will know him as a man, his lineage, because they have it all on the catacombs of the Vatican. They have all the cycles that they've passed. If you think that this is new, none of this is new. Okay, they have all the registers of all the Fredericos, all the
Can't hear
houses.
what you're saying, I'm sorry, can't hear
Oh,
what you're saying.
sorry.
You speak so softly.
Oh,
Which is
oh,
very
really?
nice. It's unusual. I'm going
It's
to say that's very
unusual.
unusual. You obviously haven't met Carol before.
Yeah, so, can you hear me now? Yeah, good?
Bit better.
Bit better. I can be the bastardess if you want me to. That's another thing. So, as I was saying, so they have the knowledge to go after your lineage. That's why they preserve their lineage. That's why they are so into this cult things of the blood.
Bloodlines.
Yeah? But they took that from us. Like they are taking all our traditions from us. Right? So what Baron David Ward did is bringing it all back.
Tradition.
Tradition. Your house. If you die 100 years from now, I can dig you up, can go to your bones, and I can see where you're coming from. Which lineage do you belong to? Right? So until then, your house was empty. There was not even a house. Yeah? So picking up, and I tell you this because I had a conversation with Baron David Ward, because it was all new to me, so I didn't know nothing. And I was like, okay, so how do I do it? I don't know. How do I create a crest? I don't even know what that is. And he's only said to me two things. Keep it simple. Understand where your lineage comes from. Why do we always keep the name of the father? Understand why is this important, and then keep it there. give a house to your strawman. Now it's not a owners on the ward of the government.
He has an house.
He has an house.
Therefore, government can't tax him, even the straw man.
Every time they see your crest and your seal, they know that you are the fucking highest authority.
The highest.
But they won't tell you, but they know it. Why? Because when you go to the council, I think it was you, wasn't it, that you saw that the council, they have the common seal.
Yeah, when
When
they're dealing with each other, doing business with each other, they abide by the Companies Act. So why would you abide by the Companies Act? You're a company. So they will use,
You see, you have soft voices.
they will use the common seal, and they'll sign it with a witness. You can find the documents online, if you just type that in, and you'll find documents where they're doing business with each other, and they're signing things correctly. Because in their world, when they're doing that, in their world it's not fraud, it's still fraud, because they still don't have any consent from people to be able to do that business. But they will do it to their rules. So when you know you've got a letter through and they haven't signed it correctly, it's because nobody wants to stand surety for that letter because it's fraud.
Yeah, because if they sign it, they're obligated.
There is an obligation.
Yeah.
They're liable.
Every financially motivated letter you get, doesn't matter who it's from, never be signed.
It can't be signed. Then they know this. That's why they're not signed. They're never ever signed. So as soon as you receive a letter, there's no signature, immediately, you know it's malfeasance in office. Immediately. Just through that one act, Companies Act. That's it. So you should be holding them to account just on that one fact, actually. Well, I know everything. I'm armed now with this little bit of information. Can you tell me why you're not exempt? How come you're not exempt?
I use that in letters all the time, actually. I can't respond to your request until I have the full name of the man for reverse liability
Okay.
and accountability.
Right, so I can teach you how to put that name on the paper. Because you can't sign it as your legal embodiment, can you? Because you're not it. But what you can do is you can sign on behalf of it. Okay? Oh yes. So whenever you're writing any documents, a little tip for you.
Is there the name up on there?
Yeah.
Can you get that name up?
You never ever use I. It's always we, because there's two of you. You're writing it on behalf of something else. So it's the royal we. So we. I gives you liability.
And you is plural.
But yeah, that's the important, the we. But yeah, we can get this up. We'll go through it briefly, but let me give you the best piece of advice I can give you guys. If you're even slightly unsure of what you do with these links, don't touch them. Because you'll end up in shit.
PDF?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Can't see it. Right, it's too small.
Let me turn the lights. You can turn it on.
How's that? So securitised lien. A lien, in simple terms, is the only form of interest that there is. It's the only form of interest. And it starts with, where's the letter, Anthony? Bring it round. It'll start further down this page.
No, it's this one because this is the weak one.
This is week one.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
said it was,
Right, so when do you start a lien? Well, you can start a lien as soon as you've received. You can't start a lien without material evidence. So you need material evidence of fraud in your hand. So any letter comes to
Normally, will we tell people if they want to start getting the gist of it, they start with the MPs. Okay, so it's 3 claims claims, easy peasy, when you start to get, to understand the wording, because the word, the language in there is very important. And, so if you, because they are the ones, oh my God. So I was saying, they are the ones who are making a claim that they are prime ministers or presidents or whatever they want to call themselves, but they are not, because the evidence, the material evidence of that claim is non-existent. Why? Because we never consented to the government, first and foremost, and secondly, because we never passed our, not give away our power of attorney. So, we have what? A tort. We would say
It's
tort.
a tort.
And we're gonna get the record straight in our courts of records.
So when they come to you with a claim, so they come to you with a claim, right? I can't say to them, I can't write them a letter saying, well, if you can't prove it, I'm going to start charging you £1,000 a week. You can't do that. For the same reason they can't do it. You need to create a charge, yeah? And you create that charge through the false claim. He who makes the claim, there's the burden of proof to prove that claim. If that claim can't be proven, then we've got a pretty serious problem there. Now we've got a chargeable criminal offence, an indictable offence, malfeasance in office. That's how you create a charge. So now we can charge them. But you can't charge anybody without creating a charge. I've seen it all online. If you don't come and get me meter, I'm going to charge you £100 a day. Really? Now you're committing fucking fraud.
Yeah.
You can't make claims like that. You have to create a charge. And fraud is an indictable charge. So that's how we create the charge.
By charge, we mean the charge that you would get, a court would charge you with, a policeman would charge you.
Absolutely.
That's what we mean by charge in this instance.
So, how can we be jury, executioner and everything else? We'll give them 6 weeks. It's a long, drawn-out process, and we give them every opportunity to come clean. So it always starts with the material evidence. You can't begin one of these leads without a letter in your hand. Or if someone's made a claim to you in the street, for instance, you need it on paper. And as soon as you've got that on paper, you've already won before you even start. Yeah, because this is a legally recognised process, and they can't escape. So going back to how do you make a criminal not be a criminal? I mean, it's the only way. It's the only way. So, at the top of this league would be normally.
That's there for 6.
Oh, is that 6?
That's the other one.
Bear with.
So you have to change them. This is what we
No,
So
it's
here we
not
are.
the leather
So
one.
here we are. Okay. Right, so this is where we'll come back to the etiquette of the league in a moment, because the first letter that we see in that league is actually the last letter sent in the sequence. So this would be how it would begin. Mr. Heath. So he's had a letter from council, full of claims. So that's what we attach. We attach a photocopy of the letter that we've received, because that's material evidence, Exhibit A, as it's called it further up here, Exhibit A. Material evidence of claim by Mr. Div3rgent in the position of councillor for North Somerset Council, including any correspondence by Anthony Heath. So that's where the lien starts, with the material evidence, yeah? That's how any court case is starting, isn't it? You bring material evidence and you go through the evidence, and so there we go. So, cranky. Nothing to say. Yeah?
Only one letter, one page.
Right, okay. So, we're going back to school now, letter writing. It's important to know how to write a letter. We've all forgotten about how to write a letter. So, honour and candour, 2 words to
A
memorise.
little bit salt and pepper for Anthony.
Always, always put a little twist
It's
in
always,
it.
yeah.
So, we're thanking Mr. Bridget. So, was this the CEO, Anthony?
Councillor,
So, just a councillor?
you're running his mouth on Facebook, isn't it?
So, basically, let's take the council, because we're dealing with council. So, Anthony receives a council tax bill, as we all do. Now, you've got an option here. So, you can either deal with the person who sent you the letter. That would usually be the finance team, or someone within that. What I did was I wrote to the CEO, and then the CEO wrote back to me. So I used that letter to nail him. But whoever sent you the letter is making a claim, basically. Now anybody in a company making a claim within a company, there's only really one person responsible, and that's the CEO is vicariously liable for anything that leaves that office, so he's in charge. So basically we're thanking him for his unsigned correspondence. I always like to put that in. Thank you for your unsigned correspondence. Let's get that in right from the start, yeah? Thank you very much for your unsigned correspondence. Again, dates, I always try and get dating, because this is a court of record. So he's explaining how he's received his document. He's received it by way of electronic communication. Yours might be in a letter form. You have to obviously. We've noted that there is a claim of, in the legal sense, the obligation to pay. So he'll have taken this word for word out of the document. Yeah. So this would have been written in that. If I go up to this document, I'll be able to find these claims within that document. If I can't, you've got an issue. Yeah, we're only pulling the claims out that they've made against us. You're obligated. You're this. You're that. Okay. We'll improve it. So this was an initial letter by the looks of it. Is that right? Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. So he's pulled out a few claims there. I need to pull one claim out. Yeah, say they don't pay for work. The claim is, if you can send the documents out signed. Yeah. Where's your authority? Where's your authority? That means anybody can just send out threatening letters and there's no recourse. It's repetitive. These rights are repetitive. Yeah, we have to repeat ourselves throughout. So we don't leave these documents in any ambiguity. There can be no ambiguity whatsoever. It says what it means, and it means exactly what it says.
And if they say otherwise, they are showing incompetence. So they should quit their jobs.
So what we're doing, in effect, we're basically thanking them for the document. We're letting them know that you're making claims, and here are the claims that you're making. We would know and refer only to the Companies Act. So we're letting them know that, thank you for your unsigned correspondence, but actually, there's a piece of legislation here that you should be following, and you're not. So we always put that in.
And we put that in because that's the agreements that we have originally from our foundation, which is the affidavit, which was sent previously. Okay? So, yeah.
So you didn't start this process when they've not rebutted the affidavit?
No,
within a given time?
No, right.
No.
There's a bit of confusion, I think. Right, so you're just sat at home. You just sat at home minding your own business. You get a council tax bill. You've got a few options from that point, Steve. You can either send them an affidavit on its own and ask them to report it, or you can send them an opportunity to withdraw, or you can just start with it. Because it's already established. Yeah?
If
So,
you already know and stand with the facts. Otherwise, don't do nothing, because we've been seeing a few leads coming through which are bullshit.
In what way?
copied, it looks copied.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, when we copied, we all copied.
If someone drags you to one of their shit shows, I want to see you stand in your facts. You won't know what you are doing because you didn't write the document.
That's the most important thing. So, realistically, once you've read that document and fully understand it, There's actually no real, you don't need to write any liens.
No.
You
Yeah,
don't,
well,
there's over 3,000 on repository that you can go, I can use, I can rely on those.
Yeah.
So
And
why
so
do we
it's-
do these liens then?
It's your court of record.
It's too
Do you wanna,
important.
yeah,
I'm being abused. Someone's abusing me, making claims, so I'm making my own court of record. You should really, I am. It's not necessary, if you know what I mean, but it really is. It's like saying I'm here, I'm fucking here and I'm not having it. But if you're just there like that, how you even here? Do you know what I'm saying? So we have to be present. So you might not want to do the writing of the lead, I get that, but the language is still the same. Yeah? The language in the lead is the language that you need to be writing. Not I, this, that. So that's come from knowing who we are. Yeah? So you go back by reading. And once you get to a level of understanding, you realise, well, I don't need the leads. Because ultimately, they're going to drag me off in front of a judge or whatever. I need to know this shit. Yeah?
there are three motions in the affidavit and in the liens. If you don't understand what they are, you can never, ever start making a lien. Because you don't know who is the we that we are talking about.
So, the way...
So it's better for you to go to the original page of Baron David Wood, go through his comments, where he's tearing every people apart, go and see what he's responding. Take your time, 1 year. Don't feel like, oh, I need to do it urgent. No, you don't. If there is an urgency, you are already in a deep shit, you are going to cause more deep shit to yourself. So take your time, calm down, say to the universal, whatever the creator or Jesus, whatever you want to say, tell him, hey, listen, I'm going to take a time out, and I'm going to learn this. So whatever you want to come at me, I'm just going to put it to the side, and I'm going to be well versed in this, and then you start doing a lien. Because there is no point of, we've seen liens, yeah, we've seen liens with UCC,
I'm
with
relying on UCC.
me, my body, myself, and I. Yeah.
So that these three motions that Carl speaks of here,
Okay.
that's what we is, yeah?
The act that is writing the liens, it's your Attorney General. It's not you.
So right. We represent our principal legal embodiments. Principal, yeah? Eyes. That's why we have a great seal. They only use a common seal, because they're not principal. The council is just a fucking add-on. Yeah? It's not the state. It's a sister company. And going back to, is it Exhibit C, the representation, I can find it, Devon. Exhibit C gives you the representation of a legal embodiment. And you really need to understand this legal embodiment and what it is.
They have a peer relationship.
There. So there we go. There's actually a diagram of what a legal embodiment is. A legal embodiment is anything created by an act of registration. Yeah? It creates a legal embodiment. So the legal embodiment by an act of registration was, all legal embodiments rather, created by an act of registration are equals by default and have a peer-to-peer relationship. Do you understand what I mean by that? Mr. Scott Herbert, the legal embodiment, has the same power as the government, because they're both principal legal embodiments. Boris Johnson acts for and on behalf of a legal embodiment as the CEO of that company. So he's below me. Yeah, because he's just a fucking CEO. I'm the principal legal embodiment. Not me personally, but the name in the court That's really important and key. Because when you know you're the principal and you're talking to council, even from a legal standpoint, there's no peer-to-peer relationship anymore. You're greater in status. That's why it's important to understand. So, HM Parliament and Government is the equivalent to McDonald's. Yeah? So that would also be Mr. Scott Herbert. Yeah? So Mr. Scott Herbert, Principal Legal Embodiment. HM Parliament and Government, Principal Legal Embodiment. McDonald's, Principal Legal Embodiment. Anybody working for those companies can only act on behalf of them. So they're lesser in status, there's no peer-to-peer relationship then. So my peer-to-peer relationship is with HM Parliament and Government, the council, the tax office. CEO of the tax office is below me. That's important. So as we run down a company, you've got the principal legal embodiment, so it can be any, we'll call it McDonald's. Next office down is the executive office, yeah. Next office down is the CEO or chief exec's office. Then you've got the company policy, which is legislation. And then a run down from that, you've got the policy enforcement officer, which would be the Lord Chief Justice in the government's case. And then below policy enforcement officer, any other company officer, basically. So a judge, I think a magistrate is at the bottom, by the way. Right at the bottom.
They say that we are all equal under the law. So what gives 100 men to close themselves in a room and call themselves legislators, whatever laters, power?
They believe they've garnered that consent through us, and that's what gives them the authority and power. So we ask, fine, prove your fucking claim. And the fact is, in 800 years, have you never been able to prove a claim of consent? You ask your local MP, ask him for one name from his constituency who voted for him or her in the last election. He'll not give you one, will it? It's an X in a box. Yeah, it's an X in a box.
They are all hiding under that one.
Box. There's never been consent, there's never been authority.
And they'll tell you, when I was learning all this, I was testing the knowledge. You didn't hear me, my voice is... I sent some letters to Jacob Rees-Mogg, and he said the government depends on the consent of the people, and this is expressed through votes. But where has it ever said in the vote that you're consenting to be governed? This never happened. And Dan Norris said it's an issue that's never been put to the electorate.
Electoral.
Yeah. So he's still out making claims, he's still taking cash off us, and he knows full well that there's never been any consent to it.
There's only private and public. That's it. Banks will tell you the same. Yeah. And the issuing of money, they issue two types of money. They issue private money to us, and they issue commercial money, which is public money. That's it.
Just wanted to ask, when you send a letter, must it be special delivery?
Yeah.
Or you can just put first class in?
Email them. Email them.
Stop paying the fucker.
Email them, and then you're not paying. It's cheaper.
Email recorded delivery as well.
Right. The obligation is you need to have it time and date stamped. Email's perfect for it then, isn't it? Because it's time and date stamped. Yeah? So don't get lost in all that. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. What the obligation you have is to keep the court record. However you keep it, it's irrelevant. Whether it's on paper or whether it's on the computer, it doesn't matter.
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
How can you keep 500 MPs to account if you've got to be paid for postage and all of them? It's not going to happen, is it? It's your friend. The laptop is your friend.
And then, yeah, Jacob Rees-Mogg answered every single email until I asked him to rebut this.
Engage with them, call them
Call
out.
them out. Call
Yeah,
them out.
call out the bullshit.
We had a case in Portugal on the and the first document that we sent was the affidavit and told the judge to, you have 24 hours to rebut this document. If you don't rebut it, we have an agreement. Thank you very much, have a good day. They didn't rebut it, and we did what we had to do. We go, grab the kids, and took the kids home. That's where they belong. And where is the judge? So this was like almost a year? No, 8 months. Yeah, 8 months. Yeah. They don't want to mess with you. So when people say, oh yeah, but you guys are doing all that and nothing is working, well, nothing that you know of, or what is it that you wanted to be working? Because what I wanted to achieve, I'm achieving. They leave me alone. They don't care about me, I don't care about them, unless to tell them that they work for me. Because all of this, now that I know what I know that their place is below me. So you don't come to me and tell me whatever you want to do, because you work, you work for me. Your job only exists because I allow it to exist. Because I have to pay fucking tax on every fucking single thing. So instead of you coming in and being protecting something that is nothing.
You know what, I think that's the key,
Yeah.
Carl, that's the key. Once you've given up trying to own things, that's what's keeping you here. You're anchored, trying to own things and keep things. Do you know what? The moment I gave everything up, that's when everything changed.
You gained more because
I gave up a few fucking items and I gained the whole world.
yeah. Because they can only go after you because they know that you have the chains here. They know how you are petty.
I'm interested in me taking things off me.
They want your suffering. Don't allow them. Don't give them that. Don't give them that. You can still have your things. You can still have fun because that's what the fuck we've been here to be doing. Instead of suffering, just turn the tables around. No more suffering. No more suffering. Either we stop it or no one else will. Or we will still continue to, well, not me, you if you want to come to this loop and do this shit all over and over and over again. I'm not coming back. I'm out. So, you guys have to stand your ground individually. And instead of looking to your neighbor and speaking things ill or whatever, yeah, talk to them about this.
Don't procrastinate to your neighbours.
Yeah.
Do the thing and show them
Yeah.
what you've done.
Yeah.
Don't procrastinate. It's what every fucker does.
I went to my neighbour's door first before I did anything, and I asked, how much do you pay on council tax? And they all like me because I'm foreigner, so I have a beautiful accent, and they all laugh. But they were telling me, oh, I pay 96, oh, I pay 50. And I was just looking at my belly, and I said, fuckers, 145 pounds for me. Are they kidding? No. And the other one was paying 200 and something, and the other one was paying 80 something. And I'm like, okay. Then I went knocking on their doors again, and I said, I pay nothing. And they were, how do you do that? Well, let's have a tea, shall we? Or wine, whatever. I'm up for it.
Best place to start to stop paying is to stop sending them any money. That's the best place to stop. Yeah, stop sending them it. Then argue toss whether you need to or not. Yeah, that's what you do normally, isn't it? If you see an amount of money being direct debited out of your account each week and you can't think what it is, what would you do? Would you let it keep coming out while you work it out? No. Exactly.
Now I have 146 pounds to spend whatever I want.
Otherwise you get a tacit agreement, don't you?
No such thing really.
Well, there is, yeah, yes.
No tacit agreements.
It's dealing with your mortgage, though, isn't it?
It's not, but it is, because they will steal your house.
You have
It's
to
not
look.
because you don't own it in the first place, you believe you own it,
No,
don't you?
but it's different. Challenging the council tax and can't be mortgage.
You have to know how to make the right questions. The first question I would ask, it's all in, yeah, it's all in the affidavit. So the first brilliant question you'd have to ask them is, where is the origin of the funds
That's it,
that
really.
they lend you?
I'll ask them on the, you keep sending terms and conditions and.
You keep begging, yeah, that's what they do best.
That's where you've got to really focus.
Yeah.
They're trying to draw you away from your
Yeah.
line of questioning.
Yeah.
So basically, if you ask a question and that question isn't answered,
They are.
then it's a non-response. So you forget what they've said and you focus on. This is a, well, it's going to come to a head, the housing market. Everybody can see what's happening. It will come to a head eventually. You can't own houses. You can't own anything. You're being
Well, we have
tricked.
that case in India with Jaffin, with, no, not with Jaffin, with Monbeath. He did it. He went against the bank. Yeah, and the house is still there, and no one came and took the house from him and anything. Yeah. But like I said to him, it's not guaranteed that they will not come in the future. They are criminals and they
How
will
is
stop
not the
being.
criminal being?
Yeah, you know, but at least he has his court of record and everything is there. He started with the right questions. We did like a series of questions to pose to the bank. They didn't respond, obviously, we know, yeah. And after that, we start the lien. Because that's all we need. We need a paper claim. That's all we're going after, really.
So you see, lots of people, nobody's ever lost a house.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever, it's not a set of car keys. No, you won't lose your house. All the houses have been stolen, my love. Nobody's ever lost a house.
Just knowing how to challenge them.
You need to, what you need to do is you need to, my first thing would be, if this were me, I'd be straight to the I'll be downloading their company policy first and foremost. So that company policy tells me what they're allowed
I
to
would
do.
go to the registry.
All of that.
I would go there and ask the deed, what name the deed is.
Can't get any sense out of the land registry.
You can't take anything from there, from them? Why? They didn't say any.
You've got
Well,
forfeit,
try to go as the Attorney General of your house.
This is where I said, knowing how,
Yeah.
not necessarily legal, but knowing how to write a letter in the correct way. So, a fraudster will never ever admit as a fraudster. So you have to word it in a way on the paper, and you have to put it to him, so that we use his silence as the agreement.
Or
Yeah.
you can ask them to everything that like in the land registry, if they tell you, oh, we can't show you that, can you please put that on a piece of paper, please? Just with a smile. Or can you please make an affidavit stating exactly what you are saying?
Affidavits.
I need a paper claim. I'm gonna go after you for sure.
Can you just send the affidavit to the bank?
And do what?
You can send,
Yeah, but-
look, you can send the affidavit and tell him to look, to pay close attention for the exhibit H. Of course you can. Yeah. And after that, the ball is rolling, so they know that you know the facts. And if they want to come play with you, the game is different now. I would say, this is me, how I would set my game.
We're all different.
Yeah.
No, I sold my house.
The best option
I know you
is,
didn't, I don't want to sell it, but for me, it wasn't the being tricked for me, it was what a mortgage is and represents. You know what a mortgage means, don't you? You know what it means, mortgage, yeah?
I could do it tomorrow, but I don't want to.
You know, I get that, then fine, but arm yourself with facts. Don't rely on anything other than facts. The moment you start relying on anything other than facts, it's a fairy tale. So facts only. And do not move from them facts. Yeah? If you're being interrogated, you don't move past one point. Well, I'm not going to go to the authority yet, you're not going to tell me it first. So it's a new point. I'm not moving past this point. Same with a letter. I'm not moving past this point. You haven't answered this question.
To go after the banks, you have to go with the right questions to set them up.
Absolutely.
Do you with the credit card? I'm not bothered with that.
Yeah.
I'm bothered with that.
Yeah. Try to go with, yeah, it takes time. You need to be more,
More versed.
yeah, more versed. Yeah.
Basically, I'm
Once
trying
you
to tell you
know-
how versed you need to
Yeah.
be. You need to go into this, right, with the mindset of, I may lose this house.
Yeah.
That's what you need to go into it with. And then, you can't beat it then, can they? Because what can they take ultimately? If you've gone into it with that mindset, there's many gone into battle with banks and come out on the wrong side. Yeah?
I
Get
thought,
versed in
I
these
thought
facts.
about it, and I thought, can I lose the house? Well, no, I've got 3 young kids. They need a roof over their head, so I just sold it. Again,
There are choices you're going to have to
you've got to be
make.
realistic. What can
That's what I've been through the last 3 years. Letting gas, water, council tax, TV licence, bailiffs, blah, blah, blah.
So you've just gone for it all in 1 year?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
No,
20 years
2
I've been doing
years.
this.
And I'm not gonna, I've got young nieces, I've broken some home, I've had my nieces change everything. I've had a fight with the British Gas, I've been the ombudsman, and my mortgage is the most important, I don't care about that. I've rose above all that fear.
I'll take them on, we can help you.
Wow.
Where's the
Yeah,
fucking
this
tax?
is the main issue now.
What you've got to ask yourself is this. Lots have taken them on, yeah? And there are a few that come out on top, but they're all NDAs, yeah? So we never find out the truth, because they're all non-disclosures. Do you know what I'm saying?
I just want to know how to do it properly.
How to do.
Yeah. I know all about the affidavit, and I just want to know how to do it professionally.
We're trying to figure it out too.
That comes with time.
Yeah, well, I've done all the other lessons and all, and I've got over a lot. Haven't we?
Yeah.
She's had a car taken off her.
Oh, yeah, they do that.
And they broke into her house when she was on holiday. She's 6 days away and miles away.
Yeah.
And, you know, the bailiffs broke into her house.
So you know who's at shame? Your
They
fucking
are.
neighbours. They're
Yeah.
shameful.
Yeah.
Shameful. Shame on them for allowing that to happen. Do you know what? When they came for Black Man, I stood by and did nothing. They took the Black Man. I stood by when they took the fucking Frenchman, and then they came for me. They were not to fucking help me because they didn't have no other cunt. Selfish, mate. They're selfish.
Before I went for holidays in August, I said to my neighbour to the side, and they are a couple, old couple, and I said to them, I'm going to Portugal, so can you please take care of this little nest of mine? And the next day they bought a camera, and they said, you can go, Carla, we'll take care of it. And I know, I went and I knew that if anything happened, because they know the facts. Yeah, I made them, they are not fully versed on the affidavit, and they were a little bit scared. But I introduced them to the section 13A of the council tax, and now they're paying £5. Yoo-hoo! I mean, you can help the way you can, you know, but at least you are helping, and at least you are doing something, and until people feel more comfortable to take the step. But in your case, you are going against the big dogs.
There are
Are you
governments.
ready?
They don't really exist. The banks have set this world up. Yeah?
The banks and the lawyers.
So, I'd say, listen, go for it, but what I would say is this, make sure you've got an unbelievable support network around you, yeah? And be fully versed in these facts. No one ever won anything without using facts, yeah? You can't win nothing without using them. I know people have been going up against banks for years and years and years.
Yeah, there was that guy, the mortgage swindler.
Yeah, well, he's a big swindler, isn't he?
Yeah.
Michael O'Burnessy, or whatever they call him. Another one. Another 15-minute fame bloke.
Yeah, that
So
charge.
they're into making money off of us. Yeah? And what we're telling you is, you're the power.
Yeah.
Yeah? The words are already written. The agreements are already in place. So for 800 years, there's been no agreement in place, so therefore nobody's had nothing to rely on. And then all of a sudden, you've now got a document here that's got a 2-page public decree, which means anybody, anywhere in the world, can pick it up and start using it. That's the first time that's ever happened in history, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, well, you can go against any of these people
If you
that
have
have
a
a
lien
tough
against the bank, they will not take you to their shit show court. That is guaranteed. And if they take you, they will drag you under another pretense. So you have to be smarter on that side. So either if you decide to go against them, lien time as soon as possible, so you have your court of record. So if they drag you there, you stand your ground as a woman and you tell them, you read from your course of record, not what they want. And, well, first and foremost, you discredit the other side because they have what they call it here, the prosecutor. Yeah, that one is to bye-bye. So long, farewell.
2 seconds flat. You, prosecutor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the authority. Or are you representing somebody else? They're always representing somebody else. So he's got no first-hand knowledge. So you dismissed him in one instance.
Yeah. Then you go after the janitor. Hey, Mr. Janitor, how about going clean some toilets on the background? But all of this is now for us, and for me especially, I can be at ease because I know my shit, you know? So I would take any one of them at any time, whenever they want. Yeah, but if you are not that confident, just take it. Sometimes it's better not to go to battle. Yeah, just skip a few battles, get ready, get your muscles pumped in. Yeah, and when you go directly to war. You
Yeah.
skip the battles, but you are prepared.
Straight
Yeah,
in.
straight in.
Jugular.
Yeah.
Well, you go from believing in yourself
Oh,
to understanding and
knowing.
knowing yourself,
Yeah.
knowing your capabilities, knowing the facts.
And once you step that knowing, you come to wisdom, which is where we are now, which we just laugh, because they are so insignificant that we just laugh at it. That's it.
Yes.
Well, the police actually stole my car, so I'm not quite sure how to get it back.
Well, you know who stole it? Which
The
man?
police did,
Which police? There's no police, don't forget, it's a company.
yeah.
So which man from the police stole it?
Louis.
Okay, he's the first point of call, he'll have a boss. He's the next fucking point of call, he'll have a boss. He'll have a boss. He'll have a boss. Until it
Since
stops.
when in your law states that you can steal private property? Where is your equity in my property?
Well, it's consideration. He's a police officer, he's not a judge, you can't abrogate anything, right? He's not a judge. Yeah, he's there to prevent breach of peace, and that's it. He's not there to judge anybody. It's not his job.
But they do.
They do to people that don't understand the facts. They don't bully me.
Not me.
I will not allow it.
No, I've tackled them many times over it, but that's what, they're not taught this stuff, are they?
They are fools. So, rather than talking about it and arguing,
When they're
it's
speaking
the
with
best way is
you,
to
they
get it
know that you know.
out. No, you know.
Don't they know? Yeah.
They know
So
you
they
know.
don't do with you what they do with someone that doesn't know, that they do that
Like you
they...
say, they are there just to prevent a breach of peace. Finish.
And they're certainly not there to protect you or I.
No.
They are there. They take an oath to the crown. the Crown Corporation. That's who their oath is
I
to.
believe the oath has changed, you know.
It doesn't matter whether it's changed or not.
No, but
the oath
it's to
the oath originally
facilitate.
went to the Queen. Oh, the Queen is nothing more than a company mascot.
Yeah. But
So
it's
that was
to
before.
facilitate
What's happening?
the corporation.
It's actually that they've removed the word Queen now, so the direct now to the Crown Corporation. So, we've already discussed, none of us in here are members of the public. The police officers are only there to protect members of the public. Yeah? Yeah? So they're not there to protect you, are they? They're there to protect the corporate interests, make sure you fucking pay, of the main company, the corporation, the Crown Corporation, head office.
You could call a policeman and they won't come, will they?
I've never ring one in my life.
The moment a corporation says, I want you here, there's still only got 20 of them.
Well, that's what I mean. I would never ring the police for anything, for nothing. I would never ring them in a million years. Ever. And it doesn't matter what's happened to them. I'd never ever ring them or rely on them. They offer a service. I don't fucking bother about their service.
Well, I didn't want to stop, but, you know, they had blue flashing lights and all that.
So what they claim that they make the steering about that?
Well, I had green number plates on the car, which I bought privately. And I informed the DVLA about all this, and I was driving happily for 11 months with no problem. And then one day, this younger police officer and the chief superintendent who was with him decided to stop me, and Catherine was in the car, and another bloke called Phil, and they basically, it was in the evening, we were going out to dinner, and they threw us out. They also seen my insurance, which I showed them, and that's a private registered indemnity bond, and they said, oh, that's just a copy. But it's not just a copy, it's what they actually use. They use those bonds as well. You know, so this is the thing.
So basically, what you're telling me is, at the side of the road, you got into litigation with them. Yeah.
I suppose.
You don't know, you don't
But
know.
they shouldn't have stopped me for the green number plate anyway.
Okay, so that's your point.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be discussing anything else other than your point. Whoa, officer, I'm not fucking discussing that with you. You haven't even fucking told me why you stopped me. You haven't got the authority to fucking stop. I'm not moving past this point. Well, what about this? I'm not interested in that. This is the point. Because I know he hasn't got authority to stop me. I know he hasn't.
Yes, we did have
So I can
consent
push,
to
push.
take the car.
Yeah. Oh, the AB belittled. Come off. Straight to the fucking eyeballs. But I make sure.
Can I say that word on the mic?
Yes, say it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Really? It's so good.
As long as there's nobody, right? Because I've sworn lots of times in front of the police, and rather than you can't swear in front of public. Is anybody here making a complaint about me swearing? No. Right, fuck off, you dickhead. Because I know his rules, I know what he can and can't do. He's got rules, I haven't. That's the point.
He's got a thing called policeman's handbook. That's full of rules. And one of them is that he's not allowed to be offended by anything that you say to him. No name that you call him.
Can't be offended.
He's not allowed to be offended.
So that means
But
you
if
can't
a
be
member of the
harassed.
public hear it,
And offended and
he can
complain.
then act on that.
Yeah.
I'm saying a member of the public. No, but his perception is,
That you are. That's his perception.
yes.
The reality is, you're
That's
not a
what
member
they
of
are.
the public, but his perception is you are the public. So when he asks you, you're not a member of the public, you're a private woman. Prove me otherwise. You're making a claim that I'm this and I'm that. I'm telling you. I know exactly what I am. And if you think I'm otherwise, then prove it.
I got pulled over, almost I stopped because the lights on. Couldn't see the number plate at the back. No. MOT, no tax, one of the letters was changed on the front of my number plate, because all the green air zones and all this nonsense. And I stuck with one question, because she said an act, and I said, why does an act of Parliament, which is a private corporation, apply to me? And they didn't take any of it. They ended up constantly threatening me to do an interview, so again, you've got to weigh the options. So I went and did the interview, and I pointed out her mistakes. Yeah, a lot of mistakes, and she was sat there shaking, wouldn't give me eye contact, and then when she came off the script at the end, she couldn't get her words out. She messed up all her words. You know, as a trained police officer who's done that many times, but I didn't even use a lot of this. Just I knew what I was saying was correct, and I knew what she was saying was bollocks. So we got no comeback. Got no comeback on that. But I also knew what I would and wouldn't stand surety for. I knew where I could put that name and what I would do with the name. And I know that I'm only answering to a name. It's not my name.
So if someone says to you, we want you to come in for a voluntary interview, and if you don't, we're going to arrest you. Well, that's a threat of violence, isn't it? So it's willful now, it's coercion. So you need to get that on record. I am here, but I'm here under duress, under the threat of being arrested. You need to get that on record.
I mean, there's plenty of things that they took a photo of my car, and then my number plate says MCART 61 on green number plate, and they said that my number plate was GM14KMX, and they sent a photo with the green number plate on it, and then saying that, you know, relating it back to my old car, so to speak. So they lie all the time, and they said that they were travelling, and I was driving when actually it's the other way round, because they were in uniform, they were in the police car, they're being paid, and I wasn't.
Yes.
You know, so I know I am only kind of a beginner at this, but I've been doing it. And you know, it's just they twist everything round. So
They don't know what they're doing. They don't even understand their words. The officer said, she read out a statement and she said, I believe the fact. I said, stop. That's an oxymoron, because you can't use believe and fact, because belief is not your reality and fact is.
Yeah.
So you can't use that, and as soon as I said that, she was shitting herself, basically. Because she didn't know that, and she should know that.
Not allow things to go
Even the smallest
to
thing.
the la land.
Be in control.
Yeah.
You control the questions. Yeah, you're in control. When you have to ask question, ask king as king. Yeah. That's what questioning
When
is.
the bailiff knocked on my door, he said, "Oh, I'm here to collect the debts," and I told him, "What debt?" "Oh, the debt that you have for the council."
Who's you? Who's you? Yeah, who's you? Then you are, who's you?
And I said to him, "Do you have first-hand knowledge on that?" He was like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Do you have first-hand knowledge? What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Bloody hell, am I not speaking English?"
But I mean, I didn't sign anything. I refused, so I don't
Well,
really
you don't
understand.
need to refuse.
No, it's refusal.
You don't need to refuse. Like we told you, your legal embodiment, your principal legal embodiment, it's the king of the hill.
Your principal legal embodiment
Yeah.
is equal to the whole police force. Yeah? Chief Constable only works for the police force.
Yeah.
He only works for a legal principal and legal embodiment. Yeah?
So I should put a lien on them because they have my car
So
still.
fucking
For
lovely,
3
it should be.
months.
I would already live there.
So you would use that principal legal embodiment on all letters as well?
Well, we sign it. Can we go back to that a second, actually? Because it's an important notion. Yeah? So, this is how, obviously, we physically sign it as well, yeah? But we're only signing it on behalf of the legal embodiment, right? But here we go, so, falling on behalf of the right, Anthony, I'm really sorry, but that's incorrect, mate, that needs
You
changing.
put me out, man.
Yeah.
P-A-L, principal, it has to be principal as in principality, yeah, and an entity.
I did the same.
No major, mate.
First one.
There's no major.
You put that right as well, didn't you?
So,
So that
the
was-
principal legal embodiment was set up illegally, fraudulently, without us really knowing or understanding what was going on. So it's void anyway. But this is how we sign documents. We can't sign them as the principal legal embodiment. Now we know it's not us. Yeah? That would be fraud also.
Yeah.
So we sign it for and on behalf of the principal legal embodiment by the title Mr. Anthony Heath. Yeah? So that's the first one. For and on behalf of the Attorney General of the House of Heath. So that's something that's created as part of Anthony. The highest authority in legal is the Attorney General. So we become...
Why do you use the word Mr?
Sorry?
Why do you use the word Mr?
Because that's what's on my birth certificate.
That's
Just a title.
It doesn't say Mr on your birth certificate.
Title, it appears title,
Yeah,
Mr., Miss.
But everything in their world is Mr. or Mrs. That's the,
Well, Mr is a military title.
that's the title. The Mr. or the Mrs. or Doctor is a title. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't use it, I drop it.
That's it.
I always drop or refuse. I don't accept anything with Mr on it.
But you do accept the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
That seems a little strange.
Well, I can't see what I started doing.
So, for on behalf of Baron Anthony, these are all embodiments of the house. The house, how can you explain the house? It's your little estate on the world. Does that make sense? So we're put here, and you've got free use of everything, and your house is just your little tiny
So
estate
if I
on the
ask
world.
you, where do you live? Where do you live, Amanda?
Anger, Northern Ireland.
Liar.
You're a liar.
Where do you live? What?
Liar.
Southwales.
Liar.
Liar. Where do you live?
Lying, all lying, you're all lying.
On the earth.
Liar.
No, you're
Where do you
lying.
live?
You're lying. No, you're
Here
lying.
where?
Where I am now.
Oh, liar. Where do you live?
In my house.
No,
Liar.
I live in my body.
don't go with that. Yeah, so that means you live everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I live wherever I am.
Yes.
So all this, you see how you've anchored yourself?
Yeah.
You've anchored yourself to an address, to a name. Yeah, it's an anchor. And that's how they win. Because we're constantly backwards and forwards. Oh, that's me, that's me, that's me. It's not you. Then your address. So yeah, that's
The only facts I can say is that I am the minister of my energy in motion.
That's it.
This is the fact.
Yeah, that's the fact.
Because I am trying to minister the best as I can, moving my arm, yeah, and minister the energy that's in here. Anything that people want to attach, it's your perceptions of me. I know who the fuck I am. And I won't accept unless you can provide me evidence of otherwise. Very good to go. Until then, not anymore.
No, I know who you are. Yeah. You reside in Bangor. You don't live there. Yeah. You live there while you're there,
Yeah.
but when you go into town, yeah, you live on that street. Yeah, when you go to that shop, you live in that. It's the same as the name. Yeah, and name is something you live to a thing, like Carol said. We're not things.
So just the one, paralegal embodiment,
Baroness.
and when you put baroness household, do you go by your father's name or your married name?
My father's name always, because that's the lineage that I can factually backdate.
She's now jumped into her husband's lineage, hasn't she, as a married person. So you can do either.
Well, if you start a lien with another house, like imagine your husband, and you are creating a new house. So if you ever separate, that house separates itself as well. So for me, I prefer to my house because that's a fact. No one can take that fact from me. Apart from all the other things that I do, but this fact is mine. I'm from the house of Federico, that's the end.
Is that regardless of whether the legal responders use when they send bills?
Sorry.
Is that-
Yes,
Yes?
yes,
Regardless?
yes.
yeah. It
So
doesn't matter.
it would be, say, House of Federico, say, for instance,
Yeah.
but she's actually Miss Herbert, say, just for argument's sake. Yeah, so the point here is, Chris, it's her that has to announce this to the world, yeah? It's her truth. So I can't explain properly her wording necessarily, because what do you mean by that? Because it's her truth. That's why it's my truth and it's your truth. But if everyone's truth is based on facts,
Me and my
Yeah.
me and my partner, we were the two on the council tax, yeah.
Right.
He wasn't into that, and he didn't care, yeah. So I was the one, my house went along quite well. And after I closed my lien, they removed my name from the letters, and they started sending letters just on his name.
well,
And I said to him, so, what you going to do about it? I will you grow one, I cannot grow them for you, I already have mine. So if you want, I can help you explain you the facts and how you have to go and tackle them, but that's.
I did it slightly differently to that. So my wife's name, she's different surname to mine. She was on the bills with me. And rather than, because my wife, you know, but what I did was I addressed her name in my name. Yeah, so you've made these claims against Mr. Stockwell that I'm Polish benefits and so it's already, I've addressed
Yeah.
the two names off from the bill. Do you know what I mean?
But you're the authority.
But I've been told because I really did. So my wife, I mean, she could, but she'd be better off using, again, she'd be better off using her own maiden name, really, her father's name. She'll do her own paperwork, but she will always fall under my house. So bills generally, they're in my name anyway, that come to my house. She might be on one top, one until I addressed it within the documents. As long as it's addressed, you know. Yeah.
So my husband he started a lien because they sent him attachment of earnings. That's where he said, okay, yes, we better do something. And so I was with him writing all the things and explaining and breaking it down. And yeah, done. Yeah.
So, just cross over that, it's interesting. So, taxman doesn't tax you, you know that, don't you? Yeah? The tax office doesn't steal money from your wages, you know that, don't you? Your boss is stealing your money. Yeah? Under threat.
Yeah.
But if you don't send your money to the taxman, you might get £10,000 fine as a company. The taxman never stole a penny in his life.
Give it.
Yeah? Taxman never stole a penny.
So then you start a lien on your books. You start a lien on
Listen,
your books.
I've never had a job in those terms. I've always worked for myself. But if I was in that position, first of all, I'm looking for a new job. Yeah, because anybody that's willing to steal my hard-earned money, I've got an issue with. I'd point it out to my boss first of all, but who's stealing your money really? Little fucking Rosie Clark who works in wages. That's who I've been fucking going after. I put wind up at her. And every letter I sent her, I'd see how her bosses. And I'd see how with all the bosses right to the top of that company.
We had a baroness in Portugal that she sold her business after she knew the facts and started.
Can you use the microphone again?
I will not have a soft voice or if you speak to me very close. So she sold her business and everything, and then she decided, oh wait, I still need to go to work. So she went to an interview, and she took the affidavit with her to the interview. And she said, listen, know what's going on. I want to work, I need to work, so this is my terms. So please pay attention, especially to Exhibit F. And this is how I want to, if you guys accept me, this is how things have to go my way, or the highway, whatever. So they were shocked. They said that they would send the document to the accountant to have a look, and they called her 2 days later if she can start working next Monday. Then she went to work. She asked if everything was okay, if they need her bank account. They said if they can pay her money, cash. And she said, perfect, we can do business. Done. So, because she already, it's been doing the affidavit like for 2 years, her mindset was already like, if this doesn't want me, the other one doesn't want me, the other one doesn't want me, there really will be someone that will accept me.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. So, yeah, we are going to be hearing a lot of no's, because we are the ones who are breaking down.
We're at the shitty end of the stick.
Yeah, but yeah, we have to try.
Say again, sorry?
What tax on the pension?
Who's going to be taking that? The pension company won't be stealing it. You need to write to them.
State pension.
So how we don't, well, I won't be collecting the state pension. I don't want fuck all from them.
You pay tax on the state.
Not a single penny from them.
Yeah, well, I get the state pension and the company pension, and they don't tax the state pension, they tax the company pension.
Yeah, I'd get that. It's not private pension, I'd get tax on that.
Well, it should, ultimately, it should pension company that's taxing it, and then sending it to tax office.
Yeah, no, I'm okay that, going on with the private pensions, rather than have to go after the state, because that's obviously a possible, that's my income.
You mean for it to stop it?
If they stop.
Okay, so maybe, Chris, do a bit more research into it, into specific,
Yeah.
because that's like putting your nose up to spite face, isn't it?
Oh, well, no,
Do you know what I mean? You never do that.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're not going to go after something that is your own source of income. There's some things you've got after everything. It's just, just about there in the bugger walking that I've been doing. Very few people. Chris, it's a tough one that, mate. It adds back to this mortgage thing.
Yeah.
Until enough people have got the gumption, right, to start pushing back. It's a tough
This
one.
one I've left, I just like to try.
Yeah.
Start reading their codes. It's full of loopholes.
Specific.
Go see what the fuck is a taxpayer, and you will start from there. Yeah. That's how if I don't know something yet.
She's never got any time, that's the only thing she knows about it.
Yeah. Go after their tax codes. It's all there.
That's the basics, you know that, that's where I start for everything. I've got a letter, okay, I've got a letter from this company, right, so, well, first of all, I need to know, I want to know board members, so I'll find out the board members, who runs this company, how many staff they've got, and I find everything out that I can about them. Then I'll download the company policies, is there anything in there that's going to help me, is there anything in there that's going to hinder them? Chris, you know there always is.
Create small teams, 3, 4, 5 of you.
That's what's going to
Each one of you taking care of each one's things. Oh, I found this article for you. Oh, I found this one that might help your case. Start doing this on a weekly basis. Start depending on each other. Do not take anything too much on your shoulders because you can't take it. 5 of you gather around, or even if you don't gather around, just you have the Zooms, do Zooms with each other and help each other. That's how on Telegram with the groups, I have a specific group for work. Everyone that does that group is work related. There is no flamboyant, nothing. We are there to attack the situation, and it's immediately, because I have no time, I hate slow walkers. So once you get in there, you have to start moving, one day I might be sleeping and I could wake up and say, oh, hang on a minute, I think if I go
got to read that shit, or that shit, I can find something and then add it, and then transform it and send it back at them. And that's how I've been rolling, so don't depend on yourselves alone. Gather around 5 people. It's the maximum, 5. Do not get too much, otherwise you will get kitchen in the middle. And we don't do that. Yeah, straight to the point. Yeah, give it a time frame. Okay, this needs to be done at this time, so everyone is researching. You know, nowadays we don't have excuses because, I mean, internet, yeah, that's done.
Yeah, that's a good, just the supplying each other.
I like them.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah.
Anthony, you are great. I think I'm going to take this one over.
Get to the back of the end.
Micro.
Any more questions?
What if you change your name by default? Does it affect much? It doesn't have to be a...
Well, it's just a change of, it's
Your
like
surname.
McDonald's becoming McDougal's. Yeah, that's what you've done.
I mean, with the Mandela effect, everything's possible nowadays.
So all your correspondence goes to the new name from the depot, yeah? Yeah, so that's all your bills will come. So legally, you are that person, you know, legal embodiment wise, because you've changed it. Ask loads of questions. Don't be scared of these people.
Anyone with more questions?
Because they really are just, they're your neighbours, they're your friends and colleagues. Live in your street, all of these people, yeah, these coppers and the nurses, and we know them. And it's affecting them now. So it's about holding them to account respectfully. You don't ever have to be disrespectful, yeah? No matter how much frustration you've got, do respectfully, do it honourably, and you'll find things will start to happen, you start to see little results, tiny little results, and that, it keeps you going, tiny little results. And before you know it, you've gathered all that confidence in a different person, yeah?
Can you use lawyers who are in the legal system to help you securitize that lead?
No, it's already securitised.
How do you, float it on the stock exchange?
There's no money. It's just a representation. There is no money, so what's the float? This is where people get lost. They want the pound notes, don't they? They want the pound notes.
Why put 8 million in the lien and not ever see it at all? What's the point of threatening them with big amounts?
There is no threat. That's securitised. So how money is created in this country, all over the world, one way. Okay. The government, right, through the Treasury, requires X amount of pounds. They create legislation and sell it off to the cheap nice bidder. That's how money is created, through surety. So the Treasury signs a piece of paper on all of our behalves, yeah, and says that this lot of the surety. And what's he got at the end of that piece of paper with a signature on it? Yeah? He then takes that to the bank and they give him the cash. That's what a lien is.
Well, we're all traded on the New York Stock Exchange, aren't we?
I've not seen any evidence of that.
No?
No. Because you need cattle for that. You need actual humans, wouldn't you, for that to really happen. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's all in our heads, all that is in our heads.
It's worth watching a video by Billy Backus.
No chance. She's a fucking idiot. She's a fucking moron, mate. And not just her, there's hundreds of them. Billy Backus, have we got any more?
Oh, yeah.
Michael Albercia, is it Santos Bonacci? Another fucking knobhead. They're all idiots, mate. They're all fucking
They're
idiots.
all playing the flute and you are...
Pied Piper.
Yeah.
You can't rely on, that's what,
They've got no facts.
these people are there.
Ask them for the material evidence. You need to agree with us.
These people are
Just
there.
ask those people for the material evidence.
Well, Michael
for us to look.
Berners, he actually won his case today.
They won nothing. They won nothing. I tell you what he did do. He ripped 2 women off of 40,000 quid each. That's what he did. That's not on the internet, is it?
I've not heard that.
He needed 40 grand to go through court and somebody fucking paid it for him and now he's ripped it off. He's a knobhead. He's after that. He's after that. He made a big movie and you couldn't watch that movie till you paid for it. Anybody with their hand out, they're trying to screw
Did any
you.
of us ask you for any money, any of faith and belief for you guys to be here? No, because we are the ones who are telling you that this is our power. I cannot ask you money to
So are you
teach
saying
this.
that you never make case law?
Sure, man. Case law's in fucking me. Case law's in. I've got a document here that puts all case law from now back 800 years. And you're telling me that unless it's in that document, it doesn't exist. David Ward kept everything in that document alive.
Ask him, where did he learn the lien with? Who did he learn the liens with? Ask him.
I don't even know the guy.
Yeah, well, I had a nice chat with him when he tried to buy one of my liens.
Oh, Michael.
Yeah, so ask him. Perhaps you can start there. Yeah, and then you will start building your own trust in yourself. There is no one here highest than you.
We're
You
all,
are the
we
highest.
are all of us, right? We are all of us looking outside of ourselves. Someone's there to help me. Nobody's coming to help you. Billy Backers, Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, none of them are coming to save you. They're all part of whatever this shit show is. Anybody with half a fucking platform is there to screw us. Yeah? And that's all of them. Who owns the media, including the internet. So anybody with a camera, mate, who can have 15 minutes on there, who say, oh, God, they sound like they really know what they're doing. But when you actually fucking pick it apart, and they're cool what they're talking about. We're all lost at
Well,
sea.
if anybody's
It's all
asking
bollocks.
you, for you to access knowledge, you need to pay me 20 quid.
Well, the you've only got to look at the Sedicate Act of 1666. Actually says it. They declared us all dead and lost at sea.
But that's void.
Wasn't there?
It's so listen. If it was all void from the start, and yet you can choose an act, throw one at me. They're all void. No matter how far back they go, they're void ab initio. Void from the start. Yeah? Void from the start. And that's thinking. There was no consent.
Just
They
that
are void
you've
from
agreed
the
that
start.
we've got a twin, haven't we, on the board? We've got the All Caps name.
No, absolutely not. Well, I'm not sure if you've quite understood the concept of the legal embodiment. The legal embodiment was created without my knowledge. Mummy and Daddy didn't sign me away. That's bullshit. Yeah? Well, this thing that Mummy and Daddy signed you away, that's not right.
They
It's
never made
false.
that claim.
Nobody's ever claimed that. The government have never claimed that, ever.
Is there a court case where you
Ever.
go and the prosecutor brings the placenta or the birth certificate and says, oh, hang on a minute, he's mine because I have a birth certificate.
I'm administering a trust.
No,
No,
it doesn't exist.
there is no trust. There is no trust. There never was a trust.
It's fairy tales.
It's fairy tales. It's an illusion. It's an illusion.
John Erowitz.
Well, I'm afraid I don't agree with you.
That's fine. You don't have to. You don't have to disagree with me.
I've agreed with a lot of what you
As I said,
but just those things.
yeah. The common law is a myth. It's the last of the crutches. Yeah. People still need a crutch. They can't bear to be here on their own.
The only thing I say is, have you ever heard of David Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he stayed at my house for a while, David Robinson, yeah. And he worked on that for 22 years.
And where did it fucking get him? Nowhere. It didn't get him anywhere. 20 years of his life wasted. I'm not being funny, but you tell me where it got him. Nowhere.
Once people in numbers, doesn't it?
It's always been a numbers game.
Then there hasn't been the numbers.
It's never going to come. You know, look at this room. Look at this room. Look at the state of the world. The world's never been more fucked. And look at this room. The numbers ain't coming, bro. It starts with just
I agree with you.
false prophets is not the way. Yeah? They're all false prophets.
No, I don't believe so.
All of them. They'll have you believe that the kingdom, we all agreed to the king. When did we agree to that? When did we agree that King John should fucking give England away? When did we agree to any of it? Did that even happen?
Yeah.
It says it's so in a book.
Let's look.
I wasn't even around then, so it's bollocks. It's utter crap. I'm sorry to burst anybody's bubble.
Well, unless you were there, you can't prove anything, can you?
So, something you're trying to prove is
No, it's good for what you're presenting here tonight.
so if I can't prove it and you can't prove it,
This is my
let's move on and deal with what we can prove. Yeah?
Yeah,
It's like
I
God.
agree.
It's like God. You're welcome to your beliefs. It's fine. But don't bring your beliefs to where facts are, because facts will destroy them. It's that, yeah? So we can argue, so can't go on about God.
Well, we won't
You
argue
can't
anymore
prove
because I
he
know that
exists,
Jason
I
and
can't prove he don't. So it'd be a fruitless argument. Yeah? I just deal with what's in front of me.
Why
Yeah?
do you stick to the Companies Act 2006 if you think all law is sort of...
Because it's their act. Everything in that document, David could have not used any acts.
Everything
But he
you have
decided
is
to.
a company, isn't it?
They've created the acts and statutes so that they're rules, yeah? So we're only using what rules there is. There are no other rules that have been agreed. The only rules that there are is acts and statutes that they've been agreed to. Yeah, so we can't just pick something that doesn't exist or just create something out of nothing. So everything in that document is been picked from somewhere in history. Yeah.
Wrap this up then,
Unless there's any more questions?
I've asked your colleague here if I might talk about this, the Sovereign Project book. But I wanted to speak to you first before I address your footing.
Sovereign. Sovereign's nonsense. There can only be one sovereign. There's a sovereign state. We are not sovereign. I don't want you to confuse people, but if I'm honest. Yeah, absolutely. Sovereignty is not. It's another approach, isn't it? States are. It's not opinion. It's not opinion. A state is sovereign, yeah? It's a sovereign state. There can only be one sovereign. That's it. Right. So sovereign, it goes back to kings, doesn't it?
Can I just talk to them about what we're doing in Ireland with regard to the form of
A small party of us has come down from Southport because we were very interested in listening to the presentation tonight, which I think is very good. I think the sound quality could be a bit better because I'm hard of hearing, but that's my personal problem. But up in the area of Southport, I've joined forces with a group in Waterloo as well. And in Waterloo, we're forming a group, and I would suggest that maybe you should form a group where you work together, you research things, you look at things that are of particular interest to certain individuals, you maybe sort out people who become experts in that for your group and for your neighbourhood and for your friends. But get together, because it's mind-boggling how we've been deceived, lied to, kidded, robbed, defrauded, and by all those people who we trusted to be looking after us, and they're looking after themselves, and then clearly not looking after us. So we're forming little groups, one in Southport, one in Waterloo near Liverpool, both near Liverpool, and that's what we're doing. Forming groups, getting together, working together, all supported and helping each other. But the fundamental thing that runs through what we're doing is forget the fear. Get rid of the fear. I commend this lady who did what she did because she clearly was not fearful of what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing because she's done her research, which is what you should all do. Do your research, get confident about yourself, forget the fear, and then you will raise your vibration so that all this shit that they're trying to put on you doesn't make any difference to you, because you know where you stand, and as they said, you know who you are. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Darren. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
After you. No, shut up. Thank you.